I was just live streaming the repair of a 2mm steel cable. I didn't expect to attract the entire internet to watch. It even alarmed the Special Forces team. The highest level Special Forces had to be deployed to protect me. It even made several of Longguo's top scientific institutes want to recruit me. What I expected even less was that my few millimeter steel cable would solve Longguo's difficult problem with its aircraft carriers arresting gear. Right now, I'm looking at the pile of Type 59 scrap metal in front of me, and I'm lost in thought. I'm a guy who runs a home appliance repair shop, and you're telling me to repair a Type 59 medium tank, and it's one that's been completely dismantled. But because of the boasts I made on my live stream back then, I could only swallow my joy and accept the item, and told the other party to come back for the vehicle in 3 days. This action of mine directly blew up the live stream chat. Everyone said that if I could fix it, they'd do a handstand and eat poop. 3 days later, Shengli Home Appliance Repair Shop. There were over 500 people in the live stream room. Amidst the doubtful voices in the live stream room, I walked out with a selfie stick. After 3 days of hard work, the vehicle was considered repaired. When the rain tarp was pulled down, a mottled steel monster majestically burst into everyone's view. That's right, it was that old, almost shattered Type 59 tank. But now, aside from the old paint, it was no different from a brand new one from the factory. I didn't know that at this very moment. A major general from the Kilin War Zone Equipment Department's expression suddenly changed. He immediately picked up the phone and told Liu Yuan from Factory 912 to run to his office, right away. 5 minutes later, a man known as the living fossil of the armored forces, a Master Sergeant First Class, came running, out of breath. He had served for 26 years and repaired all kinds of tanks, but when he took the phone and glanced at it, he was immediately confused. A Type 59, so what if it's a Type 59? The next second, Liu Yuan's pupils suddenly contracted because the tank on the screen was moving. How could that be? There isn't a single old Type 59 still in active service in the entire army. This thing is just a pile of scrap metal. He also realized the background was not a military base at all. Liu Yuan suddenly looked up. Zhang Mingrui frowned and slowly uttered a few words. It's the one I sold. In an instant, the room fell into a terrifying silence. Liu Yuan was all too familiar with this vehicle. It was originally just a pile of irreparable parts. And yet, at this moment, the tank on the screen was roaring as it sped along. Seeing this scene, Liu Yuan's cerebellum seemed to shrink. He couldn't help but curse. Holy crap! Who fixed it? Zhang Mingrui's face turned pale. Who fixed it is no longer important. What's important is that what he sold was a pile of scrap parts. Zhang Mingrui stared at Liu Yuan, his eyes full of suspicion. Liu Yuan, speak from your experience. Is it possible for a civilian to repair this vehicle? Liu Yuan shook his head decisively. Absolutely impossible. I said it from the beginning. Even if I did it myself, with specialized equipment, it couldn't be fixed. He even stated firmly that if the engineer who designed this vehicle back then were resurrected, he might not be able to fix it. Thinking of this, Liu Yuan's expression gradually froze. The more he thought about it, the more terrifying it seemed. He spoke slowly. Minister Zhang, there are only two possibilities to fix this vehicle. Either he's a genius, or... Zhang Mingrui suddenly looked up. The two of them immediately thought of the same thing, or he has the classified blueprints in his hands. Thinking of this, Zhang Mingrui quickly picked up the red telephone. Is this the security department? Go investigate Yinlang livestream room 83541. Within 1 day, I want this streamer's entire network of contacts, but at this time I was completely unaware. 6 p.m. I had worked hard all day and finally ended the live stream. I was lying on the sofa, happily calculating. Sure enough, repairing a tank is much more interesting than repairing a kettle. Not only have I mastered the core technology of the Type 59 tank, I even feel like I could build one myself without any problem. Just then, the system's notification sound rang out. Congratulations to the host for completing the limited time challenge. Received 4 million repair points. I was overjoyed. These past few days of following internet trends, my income has exploded. The live stream not only brought fame, the income from the account also reached 450,000. I had a plan for a long time. 80,000 to rent the small yard next door, to expand into car repair services, buy a lift, a lathe. The business could grow bigger and stronger. While I was thinking, a new mission suddenly appeared. Limited time mission. Reach 1 million followers within 1 month. Reward. Industrial mother machine. I accepted without hesitation. It's just what I needed. With an industrial mother machine, I can manufacture machinery and equipment. It's equivalent to possessing the capabilities of an entire industrial chain, from small things like home appliances to big things like airplanes and ships. In theory, I can produce them all, but a problem also arose. I only have 180,000 followers right now. I need to gain 720,000 followers in 1 month. I'm not shameless enough to ride on others' coattails, and I don't want to beg by doing peak battles. After much thought, I still have to rely on my old trade, stick to this path of repair, prove myself with quality content. I know very well that to gain fans steadily, I have to capture the fan's sense of curiosity. Repairing a kettle is clearly not attractive enough. I have to find something harder to fix. The next day, as I was continuing my live stream, a heavy car engine roared outside the door. A Dongfeng Mengshi 917, max horsepower 600, max torque 1050. My heart skipped a beat. This brand mostly makes military vehicles. What's a military vehicle doing here? Holy crap. My heart skipped a beat. I immediately thought of the live stream that had just been cut off, and the tank I repaired a few days ago. What on earth is going on? I thought to myself, this isn't good. That delivery guy's vehicle probably wasn't legitimate. I walked out of the shop feeling suspicious. However, that Mengshi 917 wasn't painted in camouflage. It was pure black, and the license plate was civilian. There were 4 people in the car. The 2 who got out of the back seat were tall and well-built, wearing black jackets. You must be Lu Chen, right? I subconsciously waved my hand. Nope, I'm just here hanging out. Zhang Mingrui, who was leading, almost burst out laughing. I've watched your live stream. I'm a fan. I called him out immediately. Cut the crap, sir. Chief, if you have something to say, just say it. Zhang Mingrui and Liu Yuan looked at each other. They had intentionally worn civilian clothes. They didn't expect me to see through them the moment they appeared. So Zhang Mingrui stopped pretending. How did you know I was a soldier? I retorted without being polite. Have you ever seen a fan with a crew cut? The solemn aura of these 2 men couldn't have been forged without eating military hardtack for several years. Besides, the 2 young men by the car had eyes as sharp as wolves. They were clearly protecting the 2 of them. All of this made me connect the dots instantly. Livestream banned, the tank, the military showing up. If it's a blessing, it's not a disaster. If it's a disaster, I can't avoid it. So I took the initiative. Chief, what do you need repaired? We're not here for repairs. We're just here to understand the situation with you, I blurted out. I always obey the law, except for peeing into my deskmate's iced tea bottle in 8th grade. I haven't done anything wrong. Zhang Mingrui burst out laughing. Don't be nervous. I'm just looking into the matter of you repairing the tank. I knew it but pretended to be innocent. Great, no need to thank me. Helping to popularize national defense knowledge is every citizen's duty. Zhang Mingrui frowned. This kid is too clever. Not only did he guess their identities and intentions, but he also realized he was in trouble, yet he was still joking around. This mentality is not ordinary, so Zhang Mingrui got straight to the point. Since it's all clear, I won't beat around the bush. The 591 tank was produced half a century ago. The blueprints are still classified, except for industry insiders. No one knows its structure. His cold gaze fell on me. And yet, you repaired the tank. Do you know what that means? I put on an innocent face. It means the tank has been repaired. Liu Yuan, who was beside him, finally couldn't take it anymore, his face darkening. Stop messing around. Confess your problem. What problem? I looked up and stared straight at him. Why are you so familiar with the Type 59 tank? This matter involves the leaking of secrets. Before coming, Liu Yuan had already nailed me with the crime of leaking secrets. I looked at the 2 of them, one playing good cop, the other bad cop, and decided to lay my cards on the table. Want to hear the truth? I have a system. One look at any machine, and I instantly know how to fix it. Liu Yuan exploded with anger on the spot. Still making excuses. If you don't talk now, wait until the security department comes for you. You won't be treated like this. I pouted. I'm telling the truth and you don't believe me. Then I'll change my story. I'm a genius. I'm naturally gifted at tinkering with machines. Hearing this, Zhang Mingrui smiled. We mean no harm. We just want to clarify things. Since you say you're a genius, then I need you to prove it a little. I don't understand. How do I prove it? Zhang Mingrui pointed to the truck across the street. I've brought a broken engine from a 591. If you can fix it while we watch, then you are a genius. All misunderstandings will be cleared up. His real purpose was to see if I needed blueprints. A spy would absolutely not be able to repair it from scratch in front of everyone. It'll give you 2 days. Is that enough? Faced with Zhang Mingrui's question, I turned my head to look at the engine. The next second, information instantly appeared in my mind. 12150L7 diesel engine, 67% complete, repairable. Estimated time, 3 hours. These 2 chiefs have some conscience.
At least they brought an engine that's almost 70% new. Not a pile of scrap metal. I immediately spoke up. 2 days isn't necessary. After 3 hours, if it's not fixed. Punish me however you see fit. Zhang Mingrui quickly waved his hand. It won't come to a firing squad. This kid, faced with an officer, not only wasn't scared, but even dared to challenge him directly. His intelligence wasn't like that of a 20-year-old kid. At this time, Liu Yuan pulled Zhang Mingrui outside the shop. Minister Zhang, just hand him over to the security department. But Zhang Mingrui pulled out a cigarette. You think he can't fix this engine? Of course, Liu Yuan said decisively. Mainly, his attitude is too abnormal. Zhang Mingrui replied, but we still have to give him a chance. What if? He really is a genius? You know without the blueprints.
It's impossible to fix this engine, but you still want to see what tricks I have up my sleeve. Anyway, 3 hours is worth the wait. Besides, you've already prepared a backup plan. At the same time, you've had the security department investigate his background. This kid, well, soon find out what kind he is. Hearing this, Liu Yuan was relieved. Now he just had to wait. If I can't fix the engine, the suspicion level is 75%. If the background check also turns up problems, the suspicion level will be 100%. At that time, a second-class merit would be in his hands. However, just 2 hours later, Zhang Mingrui's phone suddenly vibrated. He glanced at me, then calmly walked out of the shop with Liu Yuan. This is Zhang Mingrui. Speak. Confirmed? Okay, I understand. He hung up. Zhang Mingrui looked at Liu Yuan. His eyes were full of doubt. The security department investigated. After graduating from college, Liu Chen opened a repair shop here. His social connections are very clean and he has a good reputation. Liu Yuan was incredulous. Not a single suspicious point? Mom, we've checked all his records. No suspicious points found. Both of them fell silent. The methods of the Warzone security department were not to be trifled with. If there was anything shady, it absolutely could not be hidden. Liu Yuan looked into the shop. Impossible. Could he really be a mechanical prodigy? Zhang Mingrui clicked his tongue. If he's not a genius, he would have discovered it long ago. Discovered what? The thing I gave him isn't the engine of a 591. Hearing this, Liu Yuan looked into the shop again. Only then did he realize. That was a 1150L7 diesel engine used for the Type 591. Its external appearance was almost identical to the 591's, but the internal structure was completely different. Liu Yuan's eyes widened. The 1150L7 has enhanced turbocharging and intercooling technology. The crankshaft material is also different. He's been tinkering for so long. And he hasn't noticed? Exactly. If he were a genius, he would have pointed it out long ago. Zhang Mingrui's mind was more intricate than a beehive. He deliberately used the upgraded engine version to test me, since I had restored a Type 59 before. I should have recognized the difference, but not only did I not recognize it, I even diligently worked on it for 2 hours. This time, the genius identity couldn't hold up. In their eyes, I wasn't a genius at all. I was just a bad student holding the wrong test paper, guessing wildly. Liu Yuan felt more and more that something was wrong, but the background check found nothing. This was a bit contradictory. However, before he could finish speaking, my head suddenly popped out from the doorway. Chiefs, there's a small problem now. Zhang Mingrui immediately regained his composure, showing no emotion. What is it? I said directly. Can you help me find some nitriding steel? Zhang Mingrui's heart jumped into his throat. What do you need nitriding steel for? Because the crankshaft material is nitriding steel. It has high fatigue strength. At this moment, Zhang Mingrui couldn't remain calm anymore. He suddenly turned his head to look at Liu Yuan and found that Mr. Liu was also stunned. You've known what kind of engine this was all along? I nodded matter-of-factly. The 150L7, right? The crankshaft uses 38 cr/mol nitriding steel, 40% higher fatigue strength, intercooled turbo power of 580. It also has an upgraded separate radiator. The water-to-oil heat dissipation area ratio is 1.8. I even knew the changes to the hydraulic engine fan. Zhang Mingrui was completely stunned. Liu Yuan was petrified on the spot. He actually knew all along. This time, the roles of examiner and examinee were instantly reversed. He originally wanted to see me make a fool of myself. It turned out he was the clown himself. What made him collapse even more was that I knew it was a trap and still jumped in. I knew this wasn't a 591 engine, but I still agreed to fix it. I smirked and went directly into show-off mode. I can fix the 591 engine, and the 59-2, 59-2A, 59-125, I can fix the 59P too. Zhang Mingrui's eyes widened like saucers. Turns out he had seen through everything long ago, and even correctly stated all the detailed parameters. I brought the 2 stunned men back into the shop and tapped on the engine casing. Now only the crankshaft is left uninstalled. If you don't have nitriding steel, it'll use a regular material as a substitute. The function is the same anyway, just a little less durable. Looking at their dazed expressions, I knew this performance was a success. I didn't hesitate. I installed the regular crankshaft, closed the cover, poured in the diesel, and ignited the spark plug. The next second, rumble, rumble, rumble. The deafening roar echoed throughout the street. Zhang Mingrui and Liu Yuan began to question their existence. Not only did I fix the engine, but I also perfectly avoided all the traps he had set. Things had come to this. Zhang Mingrui was completely convinced. Young comrade, what did you do before? I answered calmly. I told you I have a system. Zhang Mingrui was getting impatient. Stop joking. Let's be serious. Your skill level has reached that of a national treasure. I pouted helplessly. Why does no one believe the truth? Since they didn't believe me, I could only show off again. All right then, cards on the table. I'm a genius. The other party said to me, being able to repair a tank with bare hands is no longer just being a genius. It's enough to be classified as leaking secrets. He came this time precisely for this matter.
Hearing this, I quickly waved my hands. I was just live streaming to earn some pocket money. I had no intention of leaking secrets at all. He nodded again. I believe you. Immediately after, he changed the subject, saying that the security department had investigated and knew I had no issues. After speaking, Zhang Mingrui suddenly became serious. He formally extended his right hand. You, kid, are destined to be a soldier. My name is Zhang Mingrui, Minister of the Equipment Department, Qilin War Zone. I was stunned. I silently extended my hand. I had guessed they were officials, but I never expected a general with stars on his shoulders. I was immediately a little flustered. Why didn't you say so sooner? I wouldn't have joked around with you like that. He smiled brightly again. It's fine to joke. Immediately after, his expression turned solemn. The following words I say are in my capacity as the Minister of the Equipment Department of the Military Region, Comrade Liu. With your outstanding professional skills, the military region desperately needs a talent like you. On behalf of the Equipment Department, I invite you to enlist. As soon as he finished speaking, my expression changed instantly. I pointed at my own nose. With a look of disbelief, I thought to myself, just a newbie like me, relying on a system to show off, had actually caught the military's attention. But Zhang Mingrui emphasized it again. I've been in the army for so many years. I've never seen anyone as skilled as you. If you agree, I'll arrange for you to enlist through special recruitment and grant you the rank of major. As soon as these words were spoken, Liu Yuan, who was beside him, was also stunned. Special recruitment wasn't strange, but to be a major right from the start. This was treatment that only PhDs received, a young man just over 20 years old. His starting point was the finish line of many people's entire lives. A monthly salary of nearly 20,000 yuan, free medical care, promotion would be a piece of cake. It's no exaggeration. As long as I nod, my life would be on easy mode. Even Liu Yuan himself was green with envy. But just then, I looked up. My eyes met Zhang Mingrui's. Incredibly firm. I'm sorry, I still want to stay here and repair home appliances. Zhang Mingrui was stunned on the spot. He thought he had misheard. Repair home appliances? He immediately rearranged his thoughts and offered more conditions. As long as you come, the treatment will far exceed what you have now. When you retire, you'll be at least a county-level official. I shook my head again. Thank you for your kind offer, but I still want to stay at the grassroots level, I said righteously. If I leave, the aunts and uncles' kettles will have no one to fix them. The army won't gain much with one more person like me. It will operate just fine without me. As soon as these words were spoken, Zhang Mingrui immediately fell silent. The silence was truly deafening. His gaze upon me changed from regret to admiration. To have such a high perspective in his 20s, giving up a high position and generous salary, content to run a repair shop in a small town, even having to live stream to supplement his income and maintain his livelihood. Zhang Mingrui immediately felt how small he was, trying to lure me with a high position and generous salary. How ignorant of him. Thinking of this, he gave a thumbs up. Not only are your professional skills high, your character is also impeccable. I waved my hand again. I won't be able to stand any more praise. Just kidding. I've dreamed of wearing a military uniform, but there's no way around it. The system just assigned a mission. Gain 1 million followers in 1 month. The reward is an industrial mother machine. Once I join the army, the industrial mother machine will disappear into thin air. I've calculated this very clearly, so I looked up with a serious expression. Chief, refusing to enlist isn't refusing to serve the country. If you need anything repaired in the future, just come to me. The militia are also soldiers. Well said, Zhang Mingrui excitedly clapped and praised. Just with this ideological awareness of mine, this vision, if I joined the army, I would definitely be a fast-rising official, but my attitude was firm. He couldn't force me. If you change your mind, you can come to me anytime. He took out his contact information and gave it to me. Also, if you run into any difficulties in life, you can also find me. I put away the piece of paper. My eyes lit up. Really? Definitely. I never make empty promises. I immediately blurted out. Then can you unban my live stream room for me? Zhang Mingrui was stunned. He didn't know if I was being serious or joking. Liu Yuan beside him quickly tried to smooth things over. Minister Zhang isn't in charge of social media. I said, oh, and lowered my head to think for a moment. Then I looked up again. Then can you help me find a girlfriend? The corner of Zhang Mingrui's mouth twitched. I'd better talk about unbanning the live stream room. He had given up. Why doesn't this kid play by the rules at all? I immediately complained seriously. I was live streaming very seriously just now. Then my live stream room was banned by you guys. Zhang Mingrui was dumbfounded. We didn't. He had indeed thought about it, but he hadn't had a chance to act. Liu Yuan blurted out, did you do something shady? I put on an innocent face. Chief, even if I were shady, there would have to be an audience. After hearing this, Zhang Mingrui laughed. After this, I'll make a call to ask for you. He wouldn't abuse his power for others, but I wasn't an ordinary person. In his opinion, this kid, me, was at least a first-level commanding officer. A limitless future. At the same time, in the office of the Yinlang platform, the person in charge of the home life section. Bai Gao just hung up the phone. The matter was settled. He looked at the gift bag of Maotai liquor on the table, extremely satisfied. Helping the sponsor, Chen Zhongyi, ban a small streamer's room was a small matter, but just as he stood up to put the gift away, the office door was suddenly pushed open forcefully. Bai Gao, what the hell have you done? A roar echoed. Bai Gao saw the ferocious face of his direct superior, Zheng Ji. His legs immediately went weak. He thought he'd been caught red-handed accepting a gift. He immediately started rambling in panic. Vice President Zheng, let me explain. It was a gift from a friend. It doesn't count as a bribe. Unexpectedly, the furious Zheng Ji frowned. You're also taking bribes? He hadn't even noticed the bag of Maotai. As a result, Bai Gao confessed on his own. But today, Zheng Ji had no mind to care about this. He asked point blank. I'm asking you, did you ban livestream room 83541? As soon as Bai Gao heard this, he immediately relaxed. Yes, that happened. He thought he had committed some terrible crime. Bai Gao immediately explained righteously. Vice President Zheng, this livestream room publicly slandered our partner, Zhuo Mu Lai. They complained. I banned it according to the rules. No problem. On one side is a small-time internet celebrity, on the other is a strategic partner. The choice should obviously be the latter. He felt that Zheng Ji would surely understand. But the gloom on Zheng Ji's face didn't disappear. Still in the mood to drink Maotai, he looked down and only then discovered what Bai Gao was holding wasn't liquor. It was cash. From Zhuo Mu Lai, right? Seeing he couldn't hide it, Bai Gao could only hand the bag over. I was going to bring it to you. Zheng Ji was furious on the spot. Don't pull that trick on me. I don't have the life to spend it. Bai Gao was also a little unhappy. What's wrong, Director Zheng? Banning one livestream room isn't that serious. It's just taking a little money. It's not a big deal. Unexpectedly, Zheng Ji spoke coldly. Do you know whose livestream room you banned? I do. A small-time internet celebrity named Lu Chen. What's wrong? Is he a connection of yours? Damn, I wish I had a connection like that. Zheng Ji suppressed his anger, word by word. Just now, the platform received a call from the Keelin War Zone, questioning why we banned this livestream room. Right now, the CEO is at the Radio and Television Bureau having tea. He's been summoned for a talk. Boom. Bai Gao's pupils trembled. The cash in his hand scattered. What kind of background does this Lu Chen have? To complain by going straight to the military. He was terrified. Why the Keelin War Zone? Are you asking me? I'd like to ask you. Zheng Ji only knew a little. Lu Chen was an iron plate you couldn't kick. He immediately gave an order. Unban him immediately. Assign 2 people to monitor him exclusively. From now on, report any issues with livestream room 83541 directly to me. Bai Gao was so scared he was speechless. He'll do it right away. Wait. Zheng Ji suddenly called him back. You just said Zhuo Mu Lai complained? Bai Gao nodded blankly. Yes. They also said they want to send a lawyer's letter to Lu Chen. Immediately pull all of Zhuo Mu Lai's advertisements. If they want to die, don't drag us down with them. Zheng Ji decisively cut his losses to survive. When gods fight, mortals suffer. At the same time, in the nanny van, the general manager of Zhuo Mu Lai, Chen Zhongyi, was holding his phone in helpless anger. That bastard Bai Gao took the money but didn't do the job. This guy is still live streaming. PR manager Feng Chong watched my live stream. He couldn't understand the skyrocketing number of viewers. He couldn't help but ask his boss, what gift did you give? Chen Zhongyi got angry just thinking about it. A whole bag of Maotai. That's about right. Feng Chong acted smart. The hammer. Inside the bag was 100,000 in cash. Chen Zhongyi gritted his teeth. 100,000 yuan to shut down a small live stream channel is more than enough, but now I'm still live streaming brazenly. The more Chen Zhongyi thought about it, the angrier he got. He rolled down the car window. He glared at the repair shop across the street. I'll deal with Bai Gao's account later. Right now, the most important thing is to deal with this bastard. 3 hours ago, he had personally taken the high-speed train from the provincial capital to get here. He was even holding a lawyer's letter in his hand. He wanted to throw this thing in my face himself. At the same time, I was clearing up rumors on the live stream. Stop spreading nonsense rumors. I only stopped streaming for 2 days. I didn't go to jail. Looking at the absurd speculations in the comment section, I hurriedly explained. Luckily, I'm back to streaming. My loyal viewers have their source of joy again. Just then, 2 figures appeared outside the shop. A man in a suit asked arrogantly, Is Lu Chen here? I could tell the visitor didn't have good intentions. I immediately opened my mouth. No, he passed away. The day before yesterday. Chen Zhongyi was slightly stunned. He rushed straight to the counter. Stop pretending. You are Lu Chen. You already know, yet you still ask. I went through the list of people I might have offended, and he didn't match any of them. The comment section immediately smelled gossip. So aggressive. Did he eat gunpowder? Here comes the drama. Expose live stream. There's a new show today. The audience's gossip-loving flame burned fiercely, but they didn't know I was taking the fall for them. From beginning to end, I never badmouthed Zhuo Mu Lai. It was all the viewers cursing, facing this undeserved trouble. I was bewildered. Who are you? Chen Zhongyi's eyes were cold. You don't need to know who I am. I am now formally informing you. Your livestream channel has infringed upon my company's right to reputation. This is a lawyer's letter. See for yourself. After saying that, he took out a document from his bag. It was a lengthy 16 pages. When I saw the compensation amount on the last line, I was stunned. 4 million in compensation. I'll kill you. Watch your language. Chen Zhongyi tried to suppress his anger. Your livestream channel has been slandering my company for a long time, causing irreparable damage to my company. As the owner, you must take responsibility. I turned back to look at the phone that was live streaming. I was truly speechless. Brothers, I guess you guys are paying this 4 million, right? Only then did the comment section react. This is someone from the Zhuo Mulai platform. I can't believe this company is so petty. They actually came all the way here. So the live stream chat immediately shifted the blame without hesitation. That's right. He is Lu Chen. He curses a lot. Support using the law to protect your rights. Streamer, apologize. Looking at this bunch of snakes, I completely gave up. When it comes to cursing, they all have foul mouths. When a lawyer's letter actually arrives, they leave me to bear it alone. I placed the lawyer's letter on the table. Slander, right? So what do you want me to do? Chen Zhongyi glanced at the shabby decor in the shop. You don't look like you have 4 million. If you are truly remorseful, I can drop the matter. The condition is that you must publicly apologize on your live stream for 30 days. His purpose was very simple. He just wanted to vent his anger. When I heard that, I pouted. I thought to myself, what's the big deal? You should have said so earlier. I'll apologize to you right now. I picked up the selfie stick. My expression immediately became tragic. Brothers, this is an apology video. I just received a complaint from the Zhuo Mulai platform. They said I have seriously damaged their right to reputation. For this, I sincerely apologize. Chen Zhongyi was a bit stunned. This kid is a real pushover. But the more I spoke, the more tragic my expression became, as if there was a great tragedy in the family. My livestream channel shouldn't have said that Zhuo Mulai is a repair killer. I shouldn't have said they charge 450 yuan to fix a plug. I shouldn't have said they turn minor problems into major ones, and don't fix major ones. I shouldn't have said they received over 150,000 complaints in half a year, and I definitely shouldn't have said they take a 95% cut from every order. It took a while for Chen Zhongyi, who was standing beside me, to realize, this isn't right. I told you to apologize. Why did you turn into the plaintiff? The livestream chat immediately exploded. The apology gives off a weirdly polite yet sarcastic vibe. Reverse apology, 666. How can he perfectly combine sarcasm and toughness? This power move of mine completely blew up the livestream chat. It looks like I'm being obedient, but I'm actually striking hard. You told me to apologize. I did. If you're not happy, come and get me. On the other hand, Chen Zhongyi, he was like a new recruit being drilled in front of the camera. By the time he figured it out, it was already too late. Stop apologizing. Chen Zhongyi immediately rushed in front of the camera, but I was extremely sincere and earnest. No, I was wrong. This apology must be said. I'm only halfway through my speech. Don't say any more. I don't need an apology like this. I must say it. When you're beaten, you must stand tall. When you make a mistake, you must correct it. I was determined. I won't just apologize. I'll apologize for 30 consecutive days. Brothers, I will make a separate apology compilation video. Only then did Chen Zhongyi realize he had kicked an iron plate. The two immediately started fighting in the live stream. Stop suddenly! There was a loud shout from outside the door. Zhang Mingrui walked in. Seeing the two, he hurried to stop them. If there's a conflict, talk it out properly. Why are you fighting? I stopped. I was relieved to see a familiar face. Thank goodness it's Minister Zhang. What caught my attention more was that Minister Zhang was wearing a military uniform today. Behind him was a group of people, also all in military uniforms. I pointed at Chen Zhongyi, my face full of grievance. Hello, Minister. I don't want to fight. The main thing is, he's being too unreasonable. Chen Zhongyi immediately became as obedient as a new recruit, just because the ranks of the three newly arrived military officers were too high. Minister Zhang held the rank of Major General. The two behind him were both colonels. Zhang Mingrui spoke in a serious tone. Why are you arguing? I had a wronged expression. I want to apologize to him. He won't let me apologize. Tell me, is there any justice in this world? The three military officers were stunned on the spot, fighting over an apology. Thinking of this, Zhang Mingrui felt a bit more at ease. Then it's not so bad. You both have good intentions. Don't fight. Only then did I dust off my clothes. Minister Zhang, why are you here again? Zhang Mingrui didn't answer the question directly. Let me introduce you. On the left is Section Chief Z from the Linyang City Military Command.
On the right is from my district. Section Chief Lee, in charge of military and local coordination. We came here this time mainly to present you with a certificate. I didn't understand what kind of certificate. Before the words were even out, suddenly the sound of gongs and drums erupted outside. A team of gong and drum players lined up in 2 rows. They stood majestically at the door. Residents came one after another to watch. They thought someone was getting married. When everyone got closer to see, they discovered several soldiers in military uniforms. They were carrying a plaque with a red background and gold letters. The large characters were clearly visible to everyone. Model Unit of Double Support Work in Ningyang City. In an instant, the whole crowd was in an uproar. Everyone understood the weight of this plaque. The problem was, they couldn't understand how this honor fell upon the head of a home appliance repair shop. The comment section exploded even more. Wow, Brother Liu has made a great contribution. A major general personally presenting a plaque. What level is this? Why is today's show so explosive? Please pay attention to the expression on that guy named Chen's face. Ha 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 ha. As for Chen Zhongyi, he was completely dumbfounded. A model unit for supporting the military. Isn't he just a lowly repairman? On what grounds? The important thing was, a second ago he was serving me a lawyer's letter. Isn't this shooting himself in the foot? Just then, the cheerful sound of gongs and drums temporarily stopped. Section Chief Z personally took the plaque. He was extremely sincere. Comrade Xiaolu, I have heard from Minister Zhang about your achievements. As a repairman, you support the army and love the people. You have made a great contribution to the cause of national defense through research and decision by the Linyang City Military Command. We specially award the title of Model Unit of Military Support to Shengli Home Appliance Repair Shop, the title, and at the same time, we grant you the personal rank of Reserve Major. Immediately, thunderous applause erupted on the scene. The neighbors only knew one thing. This kid really has a bright future. There are quite a few people in town who have served in the army. Some have even earned merits. But no one has ever been like me, making such a grand scene. The entire comment section rose to its feet. Oh my God, I told you Brother Liu was no ordinary person. What should we call him outside? Comrade Major. To round it up, your Brother Liu is now a king of soldiers. After this, I felt a bit unused to it. I felt that my virtue didn't match my position. Minister Zhang, there's no need. It was just fixing a vehicle. It's not about a vehicle. Mainly, your spirit is worth learning from. Besides, your professional skills are profound and unpredictable. That's exactly what the national defense needs. Jiang Mingrui smiled and waved his hand. He had his own calculations in his heart. He valued me as a person. Through this plaque presentation and rank bestowal, I was considered completely tied to the Chilean war zone. This talent who could fix a tank with his bare hands had to be secured first. But as soon as he said that, the surrounding crowd erupted. Did you hear that? Xiaolu was specially recruited because he's good at fixing vehicles. I told you Xiaolu has a knack for fixing things. What did the minister say in the second half of the sentence? He said Xiaolu is profound and unpredictable. What? Xiaolu is dating a model. Holy crap. They must have done a background check, right? Just as everyone was celebrating in front of the shop. Zhang Mingrui quietly walked up behind Chen Zhongyi. By the way, why was Lu Chen apologizing to you? It's nothing. Just a misunderstanding. Chen Zhongyi froze. His voice trembled. He never would have expected it. That the backer of a soft persimmon like me was the toughest. He didn't dare tell the truth to the minister in front of him. Don't pretend. Zhang Mingrui suddenly gave a cold smile. I know you were causing trouble for him. I also know you blocked his livestream channel. As soon as these words were spoken, Chen Zhongyi turned his head in horror. His soul almost left his body. An angry general is terrifying. What was even more terrifying was Zhang Mingrui. His hand was still on his shoulder. Mind your own business. If you cause trouble for Lu Chen again, it won't be as simple as me just having a talk with you. The hairs on the back of Chen Zhongyi's neck stood on end. He froze on the spot. He had a million excuses he wanted to make, but they were all stuck in his throat. Minister, say no more. Get lost. Zhang Mingrui waved his hand as if shooing away a dog. Chen Zhongyi was also very obedient. He trudged away like a beaten dog. About 15 minutes later, the gong and drum team gradually quieted down. I returned to the shop. I felt like something was missing. Where's that guy named Chen? He left. Zhang Mingrui smiled. He asked me to congratulate you on his behalf. Somehow, I don't believe that at all. I know what kind of person Chen Zhongyi is. A dog's mouth can't grow ivory. He probably saw that I had joined the military. Got scared, so he scurried away. But that's good too. Keeping him here on a happy day would be a bit unlucky. I couldn't be bothered with this kind of side character. So I looked straight at Minister Zhang Mingrui. You didn't give me this for free, did you? Zhang Mingrui was caught off guard. What? Don't pretend. You came all this way. It can't be just to give me a plaque, right? Somehow, I don't believe that at all. Zhang Mingrui's face showed 70% surprise and 30% admiration. This kid is really smart. I do indeed have a small matter I need your help with. It's like this. I have a broken vehicle. I'd like to trouble you to fix it. Is it a war version too? I have a bit of PTSD. It's not that serious. It's just a small problem with the chassis. What car? Zhang Mingrui said concisely.
Hongqi, as soon as I heard the car's name, I immediately perked up. Where's the car? Did you bring it? Zhang Mingrui waved his hand. No, it's on the base. You can come with me to take a look. More than half an hour later, the vehicle arrived at a remote base. Not far away, a moss green helicopter was parked. Army Z-20 transport helicopter. Integrity level, 100%. Very quickly, the helicopter flew into the mountains. Another half hour passed. The view became clear again. On the ground were modern buildings. The roar of engines could be heard. This is a combat-ready base of the Qilin war zone. The vehicle that needs fixing is parked here now. My feet hadn't even steadied on the landing pad. Several soldiers saluted in unison. Each hello, minister, was crisp and powerful. All along the way, about 7 or 8 squads of soldiers continuously saluted Zhang Mingrui. He was like an emotionless nodding machine, constantly returning the salutes. Until we arrived in front of a giant open-air warehouse. The 2 iron gates were slowly pulled open. This is it. This vehicle has been broken for over a month. We've had several teams try to fix it, but to no avail. Before Zhang Mingrui could finish his introduction, I pointed at the green monster in the shadows. You call this a Hongqi? Updated. Mechanical miracle doctor, continuing from the previous episode. Zhang Mingrui had an innocent look. That's right, Hongqi 9. I looked at the information that appeared in my mind. The corner of my mouth twitched uncontrollably. Hongqi 9 area air defense missile. Warhead weight 1,300 kilos. Damn it, this is a national strategic weapon, not some Hongqi H9 sedan. So I questioned Minister Zhang on the spot. You're asking me to fix a national treasure like this? This thing must be worth 20 or 30 million yuan, right? To my surprise, Zhang Mingrui waved his hand. You don't need to fix the missile. It's just a problem with the chassis. It turned out that the transport vehicle of this air defense missile system was working intermittently. The unit's mechanics company had tried multiple times to repair it but couldn't find the cause. Seeing that an urgent mission was approaching, they couldn't be short of any equipment. Therefore, Zhang Mingrui sought outside help, which was me. He immediately added, "We suspect there's a problem with the hydraulic frequency modulation system, but we can't seem to fix it. Do you have a way?" I asked an unrelated question. "How much is this chassis worth?" "A little over 1 million yuan. Then it can be fixed." I was secretly happy. The repair cost is less than 10 million yuan. Fixing a chassis would be more than enough. Zhang Mingrui was stunned after hearing that. "How much money would make you unable to fix it?" I said nonchalantly. "Over 10 million yuan. You're just bragging." Zhang Mingrui just thought I was joking. He immediately arranged the task, requesting that all manpower be deployed by me. It must be fixed as soon as possible, seeing that he was about to leave. I immediately asked another question. "What kind of repair do you want? High spec or low spec?" Zhang Mingrui didn't turn back. Naturally, to the best of your ability, in his eyes. What's this about high-spec and low-spec repairs for a vehicle? Utter nonsense. However, as soon as Minister Zhang left, the faces of the mechanics company's members changed, just based on a kid dragged in from civilian life. Even people from the Warzone headquarters were scratching their heads over this vehicle. And he can fix it? In your dreams. At this moment, the captain of the mechanics company, Yang Hu, approached with a fake smile. "Little master, what unit are you from?" I walked around the truck, observing it carefully. "Shengli Home Appliance Repair Shop." Yang Hu burst out laughing on the spot. "Buddy, don't joke with me. I'm serious." I looked speechless. "Who's joking with you? Why does no one believe the truth these days?" I couldn't be bothered. My eyes were full of a desire to work. This is a multi-million yuan repair job. Model T538 Integrity level, 65%. In an instant, a schematic diagram appeared in my mind. The faulty parts were clearly marked in red. Hydraulic system, horizontal folding launch racks, stabilizer bar, anti-static coating. None of them were in good condition. I frowned at Yang Hu. "Did you guys just toss this vehicle around for fun?" Yang Hu didn't understand what I meant. I said coldly, "There are too many broken parts. Not a single module can operate independently. Look at it." Yang Hu's tone was full of sarcasm. He thought to himself that I had only been here for 10 minutes and was already claiming the vehicle was severely damaged. "Do you think you're a miracle doctor who can diagnose through a thread? Besides, a doctor diagnosing through a thread at least has a thread. You don't even have a wrench, just relying on your mouth. Who would believe that?" However, I directly gave an order. "Get a large lifting jack over here. Prepare an oscilloscope and a military-grade OBD scanner. Also, get a resistance meter and a coil starter." I had already determined the repair plan and was ready to get started immediately, but Yang Hu didn't move an inch. "What kind of joke is this? You want to dismantle components after just one look at the vehicle?" Even though Minister Zhang had given the order, he didn't dare to cooperate. "If it's dismantled and broken, who would bear the responsibility?" He then advised me, "You should at least look at the repair records, buddy." I waved my hand again. "No need to look. The hydraulic frequency modulation system is off by 6.4 degrees. The folding launch rack's travel is over by 3 minutes. The horizontal stabilizer bar is broken. The resistance of the anti-static coating far exceeds the acceptable value. It must be fixed." Everyone on the scene froze. My God, a series of
Technical terms that sounded made up, but what I said wasn't much different from the repair records, even the hydraulic systems. Error was accurate to the decimal point. I spoke again, in a tone that allowed no doubt. What are you standing there for? Get the jack. Prepare the oscilloscope and military-grade OBD. Bring the resistance meter and coil starter over here. Yang Hu repeated my request without missing a single word. It seemed as if I were his superior. He had repaired not 10,000, but at least 8,000 vehicles. But he had never seen a scene like this. Being able to diagnose all the problems by just walking around the vehicle a few times. It was truly divine. At this moment, he finally understood. No wonder Minister Zhang treated me like a treasure. The man was truly talented. I looked at the busy soldiers. The corner of my mouth lifted into a smile. Next, the repair work was much simpler. The problem with the chassis wasn't major. Frequency calibration plus component replacement. It could be done in a day or two. After all, it was essentially just a high-standard truck. However, the true soul of this vehicle was the missile launch system on top. When I looked at the launch unit, a blue light suddenly flashed in my mind. Detected object with good integrity. No repairs needed. Detected object has an upgrade package. Do you want to open it? I was stunned. Normally, my repair points basically can't fix the launch unit of a Hongqi 9. I didn't expect the system to have a new function. Things that aren't broken can also be upgraded. Moreover, it's not limited by points. In that case, I might as well give it a try. Open it. Request received. Searching for a suitable plan. Hongqi 9 enhanced version with integrated quantum radar. Anti-stealth. Instantly, a large amount of knowledge flooded into my mind. The original Hongqi 9's radar cross-section is about 1.8 square meters. It's very difficult to deal with stealth aircraft like the F-35, but once upgraded, the cross-section will drop sharply to 0.001. It can target all known stealth aircraft. Not only that, the enhanced version also has multi-purpose interceptor missiles and modular warheads. Air defense performance is greatly enhanced. As long as a stealth aircraft enters the detection range, it will definitely be destroyed. This upgrade requires a total of 9 million repair points. Choose to upgrade? I didn't hesitate. I said decisively, upgrade. Immediately, enormous knowledge flooded into my mind, causing my brain to lack oxygen for a moment. My body also began to tremble uncontrollably. Knowledge transfer complete, but I realized a problem. If I want to upgrade, it's not just about fixing one launch vehicle. The smallest combat unit of the Hongqi 9 is 8 vehicles, 1 radar vehicle, 1 command vehicle, 6 launch vehicles. Therefore, once upgraded, the command and radar vehicles must also be modified accordingly, so I directly stopped Yang Hu. Captain, please bring the command vehicle and the radar vehicle here. Yang Hu was stunned on the spot. Only the launch vehicle's chassis was broken. What does that have to do with the radar vehicle? However, he only hesitated for a moment before immediately complying. After all, Minister Zhang had given special instructions when he left. Moreover, the skills I had just demonstrated had completely won him over because of this. For the next 2 days, we cooperated extremely well. As per Minister Zhang's request, the vehicle had to be delivered before the exercise. This meant I only had 1 afternoon left, but I didn't think it was a big problem. All the modules had been installed. All that was left was software debugging and a road test. Debugging was simple. It could be done right at the base, but the road test was very time-consuming. It had to cover a certain distance at a specific speed to obtain durability data for the new modules. So after lunch, Yang Hu and I took the vehicle responsible for data collection. 4 other soldiers, in turn, drove the radar and command vehicles. The 3 mighty vehicles drove from the base onto the national highway. At the same time, on National Highway 401, a brand new Porsche 911 was pulling out of a gas station. Shen Yihan was in the driver's seat, paying no attention to her assistant's reminder. Boss, I think we should put up a student driver sign. Why should I? The traffic law requires it. For 1 year after getting your license, you have to display it. Shen Yihan scoffed. Tisk. I took the driving test 6 times. That adds up to a year. No need to display it. Are you kidding me? A brand new Porsche 911 with that ugly student driver sign on it. Wouldn't that be a waste of a car? As a popular beauty streamer, this car was bought with the blood, sweat, and tears of her top donating fan. She cherished it immensely. The assistant saw that she couldn't persuade her, and could only shut up. However, Shen Yihan's driving skills were truly worrying. The assistant was terrified the whole way. Boss, can we slow down a bit? The traffic on the highway is very complex. I know. I'm already stepping on the brake. Shen Yihan was a bit impatient. The assistant was about to cry, but we're already going almost 80 km/h. The speed limit here is 60. I know. I told you I'm stepping on the brake. Shen Yihan was furious. If she had known, she wouldn't have brought this assistant along, nagging non-stop. She even started to suspect the car was broken. I keep stepping on the right pedal. It's not slowing down. What can I do? The assistant shouted. Boss, the one on the left is the brake. At this point, the car was still accelerating, about to reach an intersection. The assistant, with a strong will to live, suddenly jerked the steering wheel. Right at that moment, a large green truck was just passing from the opposite lane. Brake! Which one is the brake? Brake now, what is that vehicle? A loud bang. The Porsche was instantly sent flying. Luckily, it was a side collision, and the green belt acted as a cushion. The people in the car were not in life-threatening danger. Waking up from the impact of the airbag, Shen Yihan immediately got out of the car to check. The front of the Porsche was completely wrecked. In contrast, the large truck, aside from a little paint chipped off the steel plate near the tire, was completely unscathed. Seeing this scene, Shen Yihan's anger shot straight to her head. She pointed at Yang Hu and me, who had just gotten out of the vehicle, and started shouting, "How do you people drive?" My head and Yang Hu's were both buzzing. We were clearly going straight at a snail's pace of 30 km/h. Suddenly seeing the opposite lane, a yellow flash darted out. As an experienced driver, Yang Hu thought the other driver was having a seizure. He immediately slammed on the brakes. Never in a million years did he expect that the Porsche would, as if possessed, make a sudden turn and crash straight into our vehicle. But that wasn't the strangest part. The strangest part was that the first thing the other party said after getting out of the car was, asking how we were driving. Is that a question a carbon-based life form could even ask? No, miss. We were going straight. What about you guys going straight? Shen Yihan stood with her hands on her hips, aggressively. Did you hit me or not? The front of my car is all smashed in. Hearing these words, I immediately understood. I've run into big trouble. This is the modern version of a profession with the highest combat effectiveness, a little fairy, impossible to win against. Thinking of this, I immediately pulled Yang Hu's sleeve. Brother Yang, let's go first. Facts win arguments, but arguments are louder than facts. Yang Hu was stunned for half a second before he understood, then he nodded in agreement. According to regulations, for similar traffic accidents, regardless of whether the military vehicle is at fault or not, they can leave first. Afterward, the Joint Logistics Support Department will coordinate the handling. Besides, what we're driving today is no ordinary vehicle. We absolutely cannot stay here for long. Therefore, faced with Shen Yihan's curses, Yang Hu and I turned around, preparing to get back in the vehicle. However, this turn directly lit the fuse on Shen Yihan's powder keg. Who said you could leave? Looking at the woman blocking the way, I pouted. We have urgent business. Someone will contact you later. Nonsense. I already told my assistant to call the police. Nobody's leaving. I was speechless and patted the license plate behind me. Big sis, take a look at what kind of vehicle we have. So what if it's a shabby truck? I just got this 911. One of its tires is enough to buy your entire truck. My head was buzzing. That's not it. Let's not talk about how much your Porsche tire is worth for now. Open those pretty eyes of yours and take a good look. Is this an ordinary truck? Indeed, God is fair. He gave this little fairy an 8/10 for looks, but drained her of all her IQ. She really is a pretty girl. Too bad her brain isn't that great. You're not leaving? I've already called the police. I'm not just letting you guys go like this. Shen Yihan, holding her phone, cursed as she walked to the side. I leaned against the vehicle and lit a cigarette. Whatever, let's just ignore her. After all, I'm not the one obstructing military affairs. That's what I said, but she might end up in jail for this. So young, what a pity. 10 minutes later, a traffic cop drove his motorcycle to the scene. An intersection away, the police officer, veteran traffic cop Sun Guosheng, already saw the giant object, parked at the intersection. His heart skipped a beat, for no other reason than that accidents involving the military are the most troublesome. Logically, military vehicles can leave after the scene is recorded, but now, 10 minutes have passed and the military vehicle is still here, which shows there's definitely a dispute between the two parties. By now, the intersection was surrounded by a crowd of onlookers whispering among themselves, and the scene was getting a bit chaotic. Sun Guosheng, on one hand, requested the command center to pull the surveillance footage. On the other, he inspected the damage to both parties in the accident. He reached a conclusion very quickly. The yellow Porsche was fully at fault. However, just as the traffic cop was about to ask both parties to sign the accident liability report, before he could finish his sentence, Shen Yihan, who had just quieted down, went crazy again. On what grounds am I fully responsible? My car is so badly damaged. Can't you see their vehicle is completely fine? Sun Guosheng was operating his police terminal, while explaining coldly, traffic accident liability isn't determined by vehicle damage, so they have no responsibility at all? They were driving straight normally, without fault. Then why didn't they yield to me? They clearly saw I was turning left. Sun Guosheng took a deep breath. They clearly took evasive action. They fulfilled all their obligations. Then why did we still crash? One sentence directly made the traffic cop, Sun Guosheng, who had been working for nearly 20 years, freeze. Now he finally understood why they hadn't left. It turns out they ran into this kind of unreasonable person. In principle, a left-turning vehicle must yield to a vehicle going straight, not to mention their vehicle is literally carrying principles. After saying that, Sun Guosheng completely gave up on communicating with her. He turned directly to me. You guys go ahead, the liability report is done. We will discuss the compensation later. Don't let this delay your work. I nodded. As I reached out to take the accident report, unexpectedly, Shen Yihan snatched the report away. Did I say they could leave? Sun Guosheng's expression immediately turned stern. If you cause any more trouble, they have the right to sue you for obstructing military affairs. 3 years in prison. Your actions are enough to warrant severe punishment. This time, the little fairy was stunned for half a second. This clearly hit a blind spot in her knowledge. Then what about my car? Sun Guosheng was extremely impatient. File a claim with your own insurance and also compensate them for their damages. Pfft, if I have to compensate, I'll compensate. You make it sound like I can't afford it. Seeing she couldn't get the upper hand with the traffic cop, the little fairy Shen Yihan pulled out her phone. She glanced at me while dialing a number. What's so great about a beat-up truck? My 5 million third-party insurance is enough to pay you guys off for a lifetime. Sun Guosheng almost couldn't hold back his laughter. Immediately after, he looked up at me and Yang Hu. I have to say, you soldiers are really professional. Not laughing at all in a situation like this. A 5 million insurance policy is indeed high, but the problem is your 5 million is probably only enough to fix one of their wheels. At this point, Shen Yihan deliberately put her phone on speaker. Hello, I'm reporting an insurance claim. Insurance company. Hello, may I ask if there has been an accident? Are there any human casualties? No. May I ask if the traffic police have determined liability? Yes, I am fully responsible. But I don't think it's fair. May I ask what brand the other party's vehicle is? Shen Yihan glanced at us contemptuously. Some knockoff brand. I think it's a Hongqi 9. Yes, Mom. Is it the Hongqi H9 sedan? The insurance operator was very professional. He immediately thought of the most common Hongqi H9. The on-road price is only 300,000, completely within the insurance coverage. Just as he was about to start the claims process, it's not a sedan. It's a truck. A Hongqi brand truck. The operator was immediately stunned. Since when did Hongqi make trucks? At this moment, the department manager happened to walk by and took the initiative to ask, "What's wrong?" A customer said they hit a Hongqi. The manager was startled. Something that could stump an operator was definitely not an ordinary Hongqi. He immediately thought of that ridiculously expensive state banquet car. It's not the Hongqi Guo Li, is it? The operator looked up with a dazed expression. No, it's the Hongqi 9. Then it's fine. The manager breathed a sigh of relief. What's there to be afraid of with a Hongqi 9? At most, it's just 30 or 40,000. But the very next second, he suddenly realized. Wait, Hongqi? What? The operator repeated 9 without the H. Instantly, that manager was completely dumbfounded. He had basic knowledge. He knew what Hongqi 9 meant. Hongqi 9, a long-range surface-to-air missile. Crashing into one of those, the best option for the insurance company is to pack up and flee overnight. What do you mean it exceeds the insurance limit? I bought 5 million. What kind of beat-up truck can't be covered? Hello? Say something. At this point, the call was disconnected. Shen Yihan looked completely bewildered. She couldn't understand how a scratch on a beat-up truck's tire could be worth 5 million, but Sun Guosheng, standing beside her, had seen through everything. This vehicle costs at least tens of millions to start. If the collision damaged any precision equipment, the repair cost would be astronomical, not to mention the damages from delaying a military operation. So, Sun Guosheng spoke up again. Stop shouting. I advise you to let them go quickly. The longer you drag this out, the less sufficient your insurance will be. Shen Yihan absolutely didn't believe it. Are you guys all ganging up to scam me? Sun Guosheng couldn't be bothered to explain. Who's scamming you? This is a Hongqi 9 air defense missile. Tens of millions for the cost isn't even enough. See that tube? Just one warhead in there is worth several of your Porsches. After saying that, he gave up trying to persuade her. He came directly to me. I guess when her mother gave birth, she threw the baby away and raised the placenta instead. I just calmly said that the problem wasn't big. All right, thanks for your cooperation. You guys go on with your work. I'll handle this. Just as Sun Guosheng finished speaking, the truck behind me suddenly let out a piercing alarm siren. Sun Guosheng tensed up completely, his face changing color. Your vehicle wasn't damaged by the crash, was it? Damn it! Yang Hu beside me instantly became tense. He ran quickly to the command vehicle. What's going on? Radar has detected an unidentified flying object. Signal analysis in progress. I frowned. As per my orders, after the vehicle left the base, the command vehicle and radar vehicle have been kept operational. This was to test coordination capabilities while on the move. But what the hell is an unidentified flying object? Yang Hu pressed. Is it a test signal? I spoke up first, my tone ice cold. No. The EF module is functioning normally. As soon as these words were out, Yang Hu froze. A normal IF reading meant the alarm was real, but this was deep inland. How could a strange frequency appear in the sky? Report, Company Commander. RC's signal analysis complete. Southwest direction, 320 kilometers. Aircraft model identified as F-35. The soldier shouted. The air in the vehicle immediately became suffocating. Company Commander, what do we do now? Yang Hu was stunned as if struck by lightning, standing frozen in place. Detecting an American stealth fighter deep inland, this was a situation he never would have imagined even in his dreams. Company Commander, we have a window of attack. What do we do now? Without waiting for Yang Hu to react, I grabbed the command radio. A special class Merit has flown to us. What else can we do?
My voice wasn't loud, but it commanded the entire scene. All units, attention. Immediately enter combat status. I stared at the command terminal. Then I gave an order to the radar vehicle. Enemy aircraft target detected. F-35, 1 unit, observation position 22078, altitude 70, speed 750, flight direction 350. I gave clear commands word by word over the radio. Calculate flight trajectory immediately. Launcher vehicle, erect immediately. Amidst the loud shouts, Yang Hu finally came to his senses. No matter the situation, as long as an enemy aircraft intrudes, there is only one word: fight. Therefore, he decisively handed over command authority to me. All teams, follow Lu Chen's orders. Complete launch preparations immediately. Immediately after, he ran up to Sun Guosheng with a serious expression. Comrade officer, lock down the intersection immediately. Don't let any vehicles in or out. Sun Guosheng looked completely shocked. What are you planning to do? Military operation, cannot be disclosed. Lock it down immediately. At the same time, next to the Porsche more than 10 meters away, Li Pei-yuan looked at the wrecked car, his face grim. The manager was right. We're in big trouble this time. Not only might the Porsche be a total loss with astronomical repair costs, but what's more deadly is that military vehicle over there. Ms. Shen, I'm afraid this is bad. This car of yours will have to be reported as a total loss. Their vehicle's damages haven't even been assessed yet. 5 million probably really isn't enough. Shen Yihan immediately exploded. On what grounds? You haven't even looked at their vehicle. Li Pei-yuan took out his phone. I've already looked it up. Hunky 9. A vehicle worth 20 or 30 million. Just a scratch is enough to cause a headache. We will proceed according to the contract, but I'm afraid you'll have to bear the excess amount yourself. Shen Yihan's heart sank. How much? It's not certain until the damages are assessed. The bodywork alone could be 1 or 2 million. Shen Yihan's glass heart shattered into pieces. She hadn't been a streamer for long. It was hard enough to get a Porsche from her sugar daddy. She didn't have any savings. Now she had to pay 1 or 2 million. This was insane. Even her sugar daddy couldn't stand being drained like this. What if I can't pay? Then you might be prosecuted by the military. I give up. What kind of stupid missile is this? As soon as she heard the word prosecuted, Shen Yihan's mentality completely collapsed. A new car crashed on the first day and she still had to go to court. What terrible luck for 8 lifetimes. Just as she was going crazy, a strange loud noise suddenly came from behind. Everyone was immediately drawn to it, turning to look back in unison. They saw the truck from the accident on the other side of the intersection. Like a transformer, its cargo bed was rising vertically. At the same time, traffic cop Sun Guosheng also ran over, shouting to clear the area. Get back! Everyone. Shen Yihan's pupils contracted. What is happening? What are they doing? Launch mission. Get back instantly. Li Pei-yuan was stunned. The assistant was stunned. The crowd of onlookers was also stunned. It's just a traffic accident. It can't be that serious, right? Shen Yihan was even more confused, her mind blank. They said I'd be prosecuted. Why skip the trial? And go straight to the execution? She looked at the towering cargo bed, completely dumbfounded. It was just a small collision. Do you need to shoot me with a missile? Meanwhile, in the meeting room of the Qilin War Zone headquarters, Zhangming Rui sat upright. To his right was his superior, Huang Han, and opposite them was a team of experts from the 2nd Aerospace Academy. Huang Han got straight to the point. The new generation of long-range air defense missiles must have anti-stealth capabilities. This is our only requirement. There's no room for negotiation. After hearing these words, the gray-haired academician, Zhao Hengyan, and his team looked at each other with troubled expressions. This was already the 18th meeting, but the scientific research level of the 2nd Aerospace Academy and the military's expectations were worlds apart. There had been very little progress. Academician Zhao Hengyan kept scratching his forehead, a look of helplessness on his face. Chief of Staff Huang, I can understand your mood, but current technology is limited. We do have anti-stealth radar, but it can't be immediately used on air defense missiles. He had explained the same problem countless times. Stealth fighters are not invincible. For example, the 38th Institute of the Electronics Group has an anti-stealth radar, codenamed JY-27. It's a meter-wave radar. It can detect stealth aircraft, because the wave-absorbing paint cannot absorb its long waves. But it has a fatal flaw. Its detection accuracy is limited. It's completely unable to provide precise guidance. To put it bluntly, this thing can only detect, it cannot guide an attack. Therefore, Chief Engineer Zhao proposed a solution. Use the JY-27 via data relay to indirectly command the anti-missile system, to directly replace the anti-missile radar with an anti-stealth radar. Will take time. We are still researching quantum radar technology. Before Chief Engineer Zhao could finish, Huang Han cut him off directly. How long? At least 3 years, at most 5 years. Huang Han immediately scoffed. Isn't this just drawing pies in the sky? But he also knew that scientific research wasn't easy. You can't force someone to do the impossible, so he chose to compromise. Fine, I don't demand speed, but it must be refined. But before the new missile project is approved, you must assist the military in coordinating well. After all, using this alternative solution is like adding a relay station. Facing a Mach-speed stealth fighter, a half-second delay means a difference of several kilometers. If we're using a substitute, then the coordination must be perfect. Also, the failure rate of the Hongqi 9 has been a bit high recently. Can that be resolved? Unexpectedly, Engineer Zhao looked troubled. Currently, a large batch of equipment is due for maintenance, so the failure rate is increasing. We are trying to arrange production capacity, but we don't just serve your war zone. Hearing this, Huang Han's face completely darkened. Difficulties again, problems again. How can this keep dragging on? Now when the army assembles, 2 or 3 vehicles break down at the slightest thing. How are we supposed to fight like this? Chief Engineer Zhao, don't give me that. If your factory doesn't have the capacity, then send people here. Our mechanics company will do it themselves. You send experts to provide guidance. We'll figure out the minor faults ourselves. Minister Zhang over there still has 7 vehicles outstanding. You should send someone over quickly. Just as he finished speaking, Zhang Mingrui suddenly raised his hand. Chief of Staff, it's 6 vehicles. Huang Han looked up. Why is one missing? I've found someone to commission to repair vehicle number 013. It's expected to be fixed today. Instantly, Huang Han was stunned. He had a deep impression of that 013 vehicle. During the last exercise, it broke down on the spot. The mechanics company fiddled with it for 3 days and couldn't figure it out. They had to send it back to the factory for an overhaul. What? The mechanics company suddenly figured it out? Zhang Mingrui tentatively replied, it wasn't the mechanics company. Not the mechanics company? Then who else in the war zone can fix it? Zhang Mingrui forced out a sentence. I found someone from the civilian sector. He had barely said half a sentence when Huang Han's iron hand slammed down on the table, his eyes wide with anger. Are you trying to reach for the heavens? You dare to let a civilian fix a missile vehicle? Where is your discipline? Zhao Hengyan was even more displeased with Zhang Mingrui's actions. Minister Zhang, you are being absurd. Not to mention discipline, that's a Hongqi 9, our most elite anti-missile system. Can a civilian even fix it? This is truly an international joke. However, Huang Han, who had intended to control his emotions, found that the more he thought about it, the angrier he got. He wrapped his fingers on the table, each word like a knife. Zhang Mingrui, from now on, you are suspended from your post. If there's any problem with that vehicle, he'll see you in a military court. Understood? Hearing these words, Zhang Mingrui hurriedly explained, Chief of Staff, please listen to me. The person fixing it isn't a complete civilian. He is now a reserve officer, and his skills are very high. But Huang Han wasn't listening at all. No matter how high his skills, can he fix a Hongqi? Are you trying to fool me like I'm a Japanese devil? He was like a rampaging bull, his anger soaring, completely unstoppable. Just as Huang Han was about to curse, an orderly suddenly ran in. Chief Huang, there's a situation. A cold aura emanated from the corner of his eyes, making it hard to breathe. Can't you see him in an equipment meeting? The orderly's throat trembled, but he still summoned the courage to report. Emergency situation. We've received intelligence. A U.S. military F-35 has taken off. It is suspected to have entered our area of administration. Huang Han shot up from his chair. Come with me to the joint command room. An enemy aircraft incursion. This could turn into a major incident. Huang Han, as the war zone's chief of staff, the enemy's most advanced F-35 had somehow vanished without a trace within his defense zone. As soon as Huang Han stepped into the command post, the atmosphere was already suffocatingly tense. The intelligence department immediately reported, 15 minutes ago, 3 F-35s took off from Kadena Air Base. But in the end, our side only detected 2 of them in Sector 1135. In other words, an F-35 has penetrated your airspace. Huang Han was furious. You let a 5th-generation fighter enter my airspace. After he spoke, the entire command hall fell into a dead silence. The Air Force representative then had to awkwardly stand up to explain. This aircraft most likely encountered a problem. After all, the F-35 is a valuable combat asset. It would absolutely not fly deep into territory alone. But Huang Han didn't listen to any excuses. Regardless of the reason, this aircraft has entered my airspace. This is unforgivable. I'll deal with you guys after this. The next second, Huang Han's sharp gaze swept across the room. Initiate Thunder deployment. Air Force, scramble a KG-500. Deploy an additional 4 formations, 28 sorties of J-15s, to sectors 1126 and 1171. Conduct a grid search. Also, scramble 2 formations of J-20s for out-of-area fire support. Immediately after, Huang Han looked towards the Information Support Department. Order the JY-27 radar to full power. Ensure a smooth data stream. Once a signal is received, upload it immediately. You don't need my order. Shoot on sight. Huang Han still wasn't reassured. Ground forces must also keep up. Air defense, deploy 6 air defense battalions to assemble in Sector 5 and 14. If the Air Force can't find it, the enemy plane must be here. The rules of engagement remain the same. We must destroy the invading enemy. Watching Huang Han in just a few minutes. Cast a wide net across the sky. Everyone was astonished. This thinking and planning were truly flawless. However, Huang Han suddenly looked up, staring at the battlefield situation map, because this deployment was not at all perfect. The KJ-500 can detect the F-35, but its effective range is only 200 kilometers. Beyond this range, the KJ-500 becomes blind, so the Air Force can only rely on fighter jets using their naked eyes to try their luck. As for the ground radar that Huang Han deployed, there are only 2 JY-27s in this area, which is completely insufficient. Thinking of this, he gave the experts from the 2nd Aerospace Academy a meaningful look. If we had a better anti-missile system right now, I wouldn't be this worried. The experts immediately lowered their heads, full of self-reproach. Huang Han knew this wasn't their fault, but he wanted to use this opportunity to pressure them, to speed up their research and development. Just then, Huang Han's gaze returned to the large screen. Air Force, report the situation. Tianshan 1 reporting, forward air command has been established. Everest, J-15 formation reports 2 enemy F-35s detected. Huang Han immediately interrupted. Ignore those 2. Your mission is to find the missing aircraft. However, the returning information made his heart sink. Roger. No sign of the missing fighter jet at present. Huang Han ordered them to continue searching, but his CPU was already running at high speed. There was no doubt. This F-35 definitely had an electromechanical failure. Even its navigation and communication systems were down. But so what? As long as it entered Huang Han's airspace, even if it was out of control, it had to be shot down. But the problem now was, where did it go? Huang Han immediately called the ground. JY-27, what's your situation? Report. Radar is on long-wave scan. No suspicious signals detected at the moment. Damn it. Huang Han couldn't help but curse. His greatest hope was the ground-based JY-27 radar, but now even they couldn't find it. The situation immediately became extremely serious. Huang Han took a pen and used Tianshan 1 and the 2. Brought radars as centers to draw 3 circles on the map. His subordinate, Zhangming Rui, understood that normally, if the missing aircraft appeared in this area, its signal would definitely be caught. But Huang Han gripped the laser pointer, his eyes ice cold. But sometimes, things don't go according to common sense. He pointed to a meridian on the map. To the east near Linyang is the sea. To the west is the capital's warning airspace. Huang Han spoke his most terrifying guess, word by word. I suspect it has passed our defense zone and entered the interior. Once it crosses this line, we'll all end up in a military court. Zhangming Rui broke out in a cold sweat. Looking at the 3 circles on the map and the small gap between them, he still wanted to deceive himself. But Huang Han was already prepared for the worst. Pointing at that deadly gap, he asked the army representative sternly, how many anti-missile units do you have left? That can reach the National Highway 401 area immediately? Report. Currently, the nearest air defense battalion is about 20 minutes from National Highway 401. Huang Han slammed his hand on the table. Too slow. 20 minutes. The F-35 could fly out of our territory by then. By that time, you might as well take off that hat on your head. Huang Han was increasingly convinced that the F-35 had followed National Highway 401 and slipped through that gap, but ironically, he had no mobile forces at his disposal. Just then, the army representative suddenly stood up. Report. There is a Hongqi unit that fell behind, currently near National Highway 401. Fell behind? Huang Han felt like he had grasped a life-saving straw. He lunged forward. That unit is designated Zhoumo 3. It's at the Yuzhong intersection, which is the edge of Sector 4, 013. Hearing this number, Zhang Mingru's expression changed. Commander, this is the vehicle that needed an overhaul that I told you about. One sentence. It made Huang Han's blood, which had just started to boil, turn cold again. He had finally found a unit, and it was a broken one. Luckily, he didn't give up. Where did you say this vehicle broke down before? Chassis. But the command vehicle and radar are both fine. Zhang Mingrui's words suddenly gave him an idea. The F-35 is very likely flying at a low altitude. As long as the radar is usable, then there's a chance to catch it. Huang Han threw his pen on the desk. He personally went to the information department. Connect me to Unit 013 after a long wait of 7 seconds. An extremely unprofessional, folksy voice came through. Hello? Who is this? Huang Han didn't care much. He directly gave the order. This is Huang Han. I am listening. Stop all work immediately. Immediately open. But before he could finish, the other end of the line suddenly cut him off. Not free. A single sentence plunged the entire command hall into a deathly silence. You have to know, this is a military channel. Who would dare to interrupt the order of the number 3 figure? Huang Han suppressed his anger and stated his name again. This is Huang Han. Stop what you're doing immediately. But the other party was even more arrogant. It doesn't matter if you're the Heavenly King himself. I'm busy. He hung up. The harsh dial tone echoed throughout the hall. Everyone was stunned. Who am I? Where am I? Unit 013 dared to hang up on the chief of staff. Are they tired of living? Damn it, who trained these soldiers? Huang Han was completely questioning his existence. He ordered them to keep calling on the spot. Also, find me the person in charge of this unit. Dismiss him on the spot. Suddenly, someone from the radar section stood up abruptly. Chief of Staff, Sector 7, altitude 8,000 meters. An abnormal infrared signal has been detected. The range is very large. The initial assessment is that it was caused by an explosion. F-35. Huang Han's blood pressure shot straight to the top of his head. He immediately rushed to the radar station. An explosion at an altitude of 8,000 meters. He instantly understood the plane had exploded. Moreover, at this time, it absolutely couldn't be a civilian aircraft. It could only be the F-35. The next second, someone from intelligence also stood up. Report. The alarm reception center has responded. There are police in Linyang town who witnessed the plane crash. Hearing this, Huang Han was overjoyed. He immediately gave the order. Lock down the scene immediately. No one is allowed near. No photos. All department heads, come with me to the scene now. But as Huang Han boarded the helicopter, a thought suddenly flashed through his mind. Why did the plane explode at an altitude of 8,000 meters? He immediately turned his head to look at his staff officer. Are there any units near Linyang town? The staff officer blurted out the answer. There are no. Of our air defense or air force units nearby. Are you sure? Huang Han's brows furrowed tightly. I'm sure there's only one infantry battalion. They absolutely cannot shoot up to an altitude of 8,000 meters. Huang Han asked urgently. Then what is the nearest unit? It's Unit 013 that just disobeyed orders as soon as he heard this code name. Huang Han's anger flared up again. Have the military police arrest Unit 013 for me first, disobeying orders on the battlefield. They must be insane. I watched the signal disappear from the radar, the corner of my mouth twitching up slightly. Yang Hu next to me was stunned, as if he'd lost his soul. Damn. Brother Liu, did we really just shoot down an F-35? I calmly patted his shoulder. Be confident. You're the one who shot it down. I looked at the feedback signal. Confirmed kill, I thought to myself. This kid's family tree will have to open a new page today. After all, you're just a mechanic. The credit should still be given to others. Although I was the one who was calm in the face of danger and devised the plan, but I value the Hongqi 9 I modified more. A combat performance of 120,000 points. It was truly dazzling. Just then, a military jeep screeched to a halt, speeding right up to us. I looked at the dust cloud and knew the main character had arrived. When two military officers appeared before us, I immediately pointed at them. Look, the people who will open a new page in your family tree have arrived. As expected, the military's efficiency is really fast. We just shot down the F-35, and the people coming to give the reward have already driven here. It has to be a special merit, right? Yang Hu also reacted. His face beaming, he gave a military salute. Greetings, sir. But the newcomers weren't smiling. Their eyes were as cold as ice. He stared at Yang Hu. You're in command of Unit 013. Yang Hu immediately puffed out his chest. Reporting, sir. I am in command. Who would have thought the two officers would look at each other? The next second, one on the left and one on the right, they flanked Yang Hu. Come with us. At this point, I was a little unhappy. This big brother here is being modest. But you can't really treat me like heir. What kind of look would it be if he got in the car alone to claim the credit? So I immediately spoke up. What about me? Unexpectedly, one of the officers turned his head to look at me. You were involved too? Yang Hu only just realized. He hurriedly explained. Of course. Brother Liu was the main force. I nodded inwardly. This kid has some conscience. As a result, the officer smirked and stared at me. So you're the mastermind. I thought it was a joke and immediately replied. I wouldn't dare claim to be the mastermind. I just made a small contribution. The officer was expressionless. Very good. Get in the car. Just like that, the two of us got into the car together. The two officers, one on the left and one on the right, each escorted one of us. Yang Hu was ecstatic inside. He even started asking, Sir, will my family be notified about this? Immediately, the officer answered directly, Don't worry. After the investigation is confirmed, they will definitely be notified. However, he changed the subject, taking something out from behind his back. But we have to follow procedure. The family will only be notified after the trial and sentencing. Put on the handcuffs. In that instant, Yang Hu's face froze. I looked at the cold bracelets. My mind buzzed. Damn. Where's the special merit? Why are we being given these limited edition silver bracelets instead? Yang Hu looked at me innocently, completely dumbfounded. Brother Liu, is this what you meant by opening a new page in the family tree? However, the officer beside him gave a cold laugh. Opening a new page is a certainty. His gaze, sharp as a knife, swept over Yang Hu. With your crime, the family tree will disown you, putting you straight into the family's hall of shame. At the same time, over 300 kilometers away, a fierce fire in a field had just been extinguished. The smell of burning was everywhere. In the middle of the scorched area was a pile of blackened aircraft wreckage. Warzone Commander Huang Han only needed a single glance to confirm it without a doubt. That's right, it's an F-35. Immediately after, he asked, Where's the pilot? A staff officer immediately reported. A body was found 600 meters away, confirmed deceased. Very good, preserve it carefully. Huang Han was only half relieved, because a more serious problem was presenting itself. He had confirmed from multiple sources, our Air Force and ground air defense had not carried out any launch actions. He stared at the wreckage with a grave expression. What on earth shot this plane down? At this moment, Zhang Mingrui, who was squatting by the wreckage, said with certainty, "Whoever it was, it definitely wasn't one of ours." He pointed to a piece of debris. "Chief of Staff, look. The aircraft fragment has a vertical cross-section, as if it was cut in half. This means the object that destroyed the aircraft was ring-shaped when it exploded." Zhang Mingrui continued to explain. "I confirm this is a continuous rod warhead structure. Once this type of warhead explodes, it will form a circle like a saw blade. Its destructive efficiency is extremely high compared to our existing weapons. It's countless times more powerful." At this, Huang Han's brows furrowed even tighter. In other words, the weapon that shot down the plane is even more advanced than what we have. "Yes," Zhang Mingrui added. "Furthermore, who could, at an altitude of 8,000 meters, detect and destroy a stealth aircraft?" As soon as he finished speaking, an officer ran over, reporting, "Commander, the relevant unit has been apprehended. The main person responsible has been arrested. Stop." Huang Han's eyes widened, a belly full of anger with nowhere to vent. "Just execute them on the spot." The officer jumped in shock. "Chief of Staff, we shouldn't. You know you shouldn't, so why haven't you brought them here?" Not long after, Yang Hu and I were escorted before Huang Han. The two of us, each with a pair of rose gold bracelets, looked very conspicuous. Huang Han recognized Yang Hu at a glance, becoming even angrier. "Yang Hu, how many years has this kid been in the army? Don't you know discipline?" But Yang Hu was completely bewildered. "Who am I? Where am I? What happened? Commander?" "What do you mean, sir?" Huang Han cursed directly. "Don't play dumb with me. You don't know what you did? What did I do?" Seeing Yang Hu getting angry, I took the initiative to speak. "Anyway, the rose gold bracelets are already on. Confession brings leniency, resistance brings severity. I understand this principle." "Sir, I confess." Immediately, Huang Han's gaze shifted to me. "What do you want to confess?" I took a deep breath, my expression extremely sincere. "Company Commander Yang and I were conducting an equipment check. As a result, we weren't paying attention and had a car accident." I looked at him. My tone was calm. "Although we bear some responsibility, I don't think it's necessary to handcuff both of us." But Huang Han interrupted me immediately. "Wait. What vehicle check?" I answered truthfully. "The Hongqi 9. You also damaged my Hongqi 9? Huang Han's voice immediately jumped 8 octaves. It's one surprise after another. There are already few Hongqi 9s in the war zone, and now one is broken. Then, he stared at me. I wasn't wearing a military uniform, nor did I have the air of a soldier. He couldn't suppress his anger at all. "What do you do? Who allowed you near the Hongqi 9? Reporting. I was invited by Minister Zhang to repair the vehicle. Just then, the person squatting next to the F-35 wreckage studying it. Zhang Mingrui heard his name and he suddenly turned his head. The next second, he jumped up from the ground. "Lu Chen, why are you here?" Huang Han crossed his arms, his gaze sweeping back and forth between the two. "You two know each other?" "Yes, he's the expert I invited to fix the Hongqi 9, but..." Zhang Mingrui noticed the chief's unhappy expression. His voice grew quieter and quieter. As expected, Huang Han's eyes were full of daggers. "Does he look like an expert to you? This kid looks about the same age as his grandson. How could he be an expert?" All the troublesome matters piled up at once. A subordinate arbitrarily let an outsider fix a vehicle. As a result, the vehicle got crashed. Just then, an enemy plane intruded. The vehicle was needed urgently. Luckily, they had good fortune. The F-35 was shot down by an unknown object. Otherwise, even being hacked to pieces 10,000 times wouldn't be enough for these people. Huang Han took several deep breaths to suppress his anger. "Hey kid, unauthorized dismantling of military equipment, causing serious losses. Do you know what kind of act this is?" I rubbed my temples and thought. It's an act that gets its own page in the family tree. Huang Han was a bit stunned. What kind of logic is this? The next second, I dropped a bombshell. "I think we shot down an F-35. That should be at least a second-class merit, right? Although there was a traffic accident. But the traffic police ruled the other party was fully responsible. The vehicle isn't badly damaged either. This merit should more or less make up for it a little, right?" But this chief's face turned from black to red. His blood pressure looked very unstable. "What did you just say?" I enunciated every word. My voice echoed everywhere. I said we shot down the F-35. Within a 10-meter radius, a deathly silence fell instantly. Every word was heard very clearly, but put together, no one understood anything. Huang Han was the first to react. "What F-35? Even you're admitting defeat. Such a high-ranking chief, and you've never seen an F-35? It's Uncle Sam's fighter jet. Didn't you all know an enemy plane had intruded?" Another sentence made Huang Han freeze. "I know, but what did you use to shoot it down? Are you kidding me? A 5th-generation stealth fighter. The entire war zone searched for it all morning and couldn't find a single trace. And you shot it down? What did you use to shoot it down? A ghost?" I pointed to the Hongqi 9 in the distance. "This." But Huang Han was completely speechless. "Do you think I'm an idiot? You think I wouldn't recognize a Honky 9? Are all of our Honky 9s just for display? Did yours get a VIP upgrade? Kid. The Honky 9 can't detect an F-35. Even if it could, the firing range doesn't meet the requirements. I don't have time to talk nonsense with you. Before he could finish his words, Yang-hu immediately interjected. Chief of Staff, he's telling the truth. He was there for the whole process. He has the most right to speak. Here's what happened. We had just finished repairing the vehicle and took it out for a test, although we got into a car accident. But the radar detected an unidentified flying object. We analyzed the signal spectrum and confirmed it was an F-35, so we took the initiative to open fire. The entire mechanic company can testify. This time, Huang Han's CPU completely exploded. I was talking about all sorts of unbelievable things. He might not believe it, but he could not believe Yang-hu. This soldier was honest and quiet. He did what he said and got results. He never spoke nonsense. So Huang Han asked a soul-searching question, but how could a Hongqi 9 lock onto an F-35 target without coordination? The next second, I puffed out my chest. With an expression of hidden merit and fame, I modified it a little. I began to explain. The original radar is an H-200 passive phased array radar. It's usable but not optimal. I upgraded the original radar to a quantum radar. The minimum radar cross-section was upgraded straight to 0.001, just enough to see the F-35. This time, as soon as my words fell, Huang Han didn't refute it anymore, because a dead memory began to attack him. He suddenly remembered the Second Aerospace Academy. Chief Engineer Zhao had said it himself. They were researching quantum radar, precisely to perfectly counter stealth aircraft. But on second thought, something wasn't right. The experts at the Second Aerospace Academy are still diligently researching. How could I have gotten ahead of them? Hey kid, what did you do for a living before? I said matter-of-factly. A repairman. Your Minister Zhang knows. Huang Han's gaze immediately shot towards Zhang Mingrui. At this moment, Minister Zhang's head was like it was attached to a motor, nodding furiously. Commander, I told you, this is a real genius, a real expert. Huang Han was speechless. The wreck of an F-35 lay on the ground. His two most trusted subordinates were vouching for him. This time, all the evidence pointed to the least likely possibility. The quantum radar had been conquered by me. That evening, the war zone conference room. Huang Han walked through the door. His gaze was cold. I have received orders from my superiors. We must seriously investigate the responsibility for this enemy aircraft intrusion. His voice held no warmth. The F-35 took off from its base. Our radar could not monitor its entire journey. It even allowed it to break into our airspace for more than 20 minutes, without any news. This shows our air defense system has a loophole. Certain individuals have neglected their duties. In an instant, everyone lowered their heads. No one dared to breathe loudly. The higher-ups will not listen to any explanations. The air defense system must take responsibility. So, the commander of the information force stood up. Chief of Staff, I accept disciplinary action. This attitude was acceptable. Huang Han nodded in satisfaction. All air defense personnel on duty today are demoted by 1 rank. They will remain in their posts for observation. Before the end of the week, everyone must write and submit a self-criticism report. Additionally, they will be fined 3 months' allowance. The officer immediately saluted. Yes, sir. This time, the people from the information force breathed a sigh of relief. Fines and writing self-criticisms were minor matters. At least they kept their positions. But at the end of the conference room, the equipment department wasn't so lucky. The information force was, at worst, just incompetent. But the equipment department was completely derelict in its duty. Huang Han's gaze was like a sharp sword, stabbing towards the people led by Zhang Mingrui. Some comrades managed equipment chaotically, leading to ineffective deployment during wartime. Orders could not be passed down to the company level, almost causing serious consequences. He emphasized every word. The words were extremely harsh. The behavior was extremely bad. The harm was extremely terrible. Immediately. The other officers got goosebumps listening. Minister Zhang's matter this time, to put it lightly, was dereliction of duty. To put it seriously, it was disobeying orders on the battlefield. This was no longer a matter of being dismissed. It could even lead to a court-martial. Huang Han finished reading Zhang Mingrui's faults. He gave them no chance to catch their breath. Immediately after, he directly announced the disciplinary decision. After review by the war zone, it has been decided to discipline the parties concerned, Zhang Mingrui and Yang Hu, with a demerit. Other responsible individuals will receive a verbal warning. You all must deeply reflect on your mistakes. In an instant, the conference room was in an uproar. The people from the information force were full of questions. That's it? We were derelict and got fined and demoted, and we have to write self-criticisms. But Minister Zhang and the others mismanaged things, disobeyed orders on the battlefield, and only got a demerit? Is that reasonable? Immediately, someone was unconvinced. Chief of Staff, Vehicle Unit 013. Clearly hung up on you. Huang Han's gaze turned sharp. I know, you don't need to remind me, but that person was still stubborn. Then why did they only get a demerit while we were punished severely? You're being a little biased. Who would have thought Huang Han would laugh after hearing that? Then let me ask you, did that enemy plane end up crashing or not? It crashed. How did it crash? That officer was immediately at a loss for words. A reasonable guess would be that it crashed due to a malfunction. After all, the entire war zone couldn't find a trace of the F-35, and no one in the combat forces opened fire, just as everyone was full of questions. Zhao Hengyan from the 2nd Aerospace Academy knocked and entered the conference room. Chief Huang, our preliminary verification results are in. His voice trembled. Confirmed the F-35 was shot down by a Hongqi 9. At the same time, we tested the so-called quantum radar. The RCS area is as low as 0.02. This time, Huang Han snatched the report, joy evident on his face. The experts worked overtime to verify every punctuation mark of what I said. So what Lu Chen said was true. Zhao Hongyan was deeply moved. Not only is it true, he was even being modest. That Hongqi 9 systems detection capability is about 5 to 10 years ahead of us. As soon as he finished speaking, Huang Han's Adam's apple bobbed visibly. 5 to 10 years. One must know that Zhao Hongyan is the top expert in the country, using the best resources. And yet I, with just one person, have advanced our army's air defense by a generation. Phew. Zhao Hengyan's eyes were earnest, filled with infinite longing. Chief of Staff, I have a request. I hope you can hand Lu Chen over to me. I want him to work at the 2nd Aerospace Academy. A genius like him with just a little nurturing will be worth a heavy combined arms brigade in the future. A heavy combined arms brigade. The officers felt their scalps tingle. That's at least 20 billion. The existence of a brigade could wipe out a country. One person is worth that much? But just then, Huang Han waved his hand, saying something that petrified the entire room. Chief Engineer Zhao, you're thinking too highly of my heavy combined arms brigade. This kid, Lu Chen, even without proper nurturing, is worth at least an army group. One man, one army. This time, everyone present, including Zhao Hongyan, was stunned. The people from the information force felt confused. Chief of Staff, who is Lu Chen? Did he save the world? Huang Han slammed the documents on the table, his heart surging with emotion. This time, the F-35 was shot down. The one who shot down the F-35 was Hongqi 9 Vehicle Unit Number 013, and Lu Chen is the one who gave the Hongqi 9 its anti-stealth capability. Chief Engineer Zhao, a talent like this, I'm afraid it's not up to you and me to decide whether he stays or goes. As soon as Huang Han finished speaking, Zhao Hongyan realized, that's right. Single-handedly advancing anti-missile equipment by 5 to 10 years. How could such a person stay? In a small temple like the 2nd Aerospace Academy, even someone as powerful as Huang Han, a war zone commander, wouldn't dare to make a decision lightly. So after the meeting, Huang Han went straight to his office. He dismissed everyone. Immediately after, he took out a red satellite phone from his drawer. The phone had only 2 buttons, one to hang up, one to call, and that call button only connected to a single line. The call connected. A deep voice came through, carrying a hint of displeasure. How could you not even stop one broken plane? What kind of chief of staff are you? Huang Han immediately stood at attention. Yes, sir. Chief. I will write a self-criticism. Of course you have to write a self-criticism, but not now. What's this about a Hongqi 9 shooting down a plane? Clearly. The chief on the other end had received the combat report, but he didn't believe it at all. A piece of equipment with no anti-stealth capability, shooting down an F-35. This is simply absurd. He even suspected Huang Han was trying to claim credit. Don't you pull any of that deceptive trickery? Reporting, sir. The combat report is entirely true. That Hongqi 9 has been modified. The experts from the 2nd Aerospace Academy have already verified it. The other end of the line clearly paused. What do you mean? Huang Han took a deep breath and spoke clearly. It means our army already possesses medium to long-range anti-stealth missiles. The other end suddenly went silent. After exactly 3 seconds, the chief's voice came through again, but he wasn't speaking to Huang Han. Prepare the plane immediately. I want to go to the Keelan war zone. At the same time, Shengli Home Appliance Repair Shop. I leisurely looked at the 2 soldiers who had followed me all the way from the war zone. You two, I am home now. Are you still going to follow me, Mr. Liu? The chief ordered us not to leave your side to ensure your safety. All right then. I shrugged helplessly, but inside I was complaining wildly. What danger could there be around me? The biggest danger is the 2 of you following me, making it inconvenient for me to go to the bathroom. You call it protection, but really, how is it different from house arrest? On the way, I kept thinking, this vehicle repair was really reckless. It would have been fine just to fix it. I shouldn't have taken it out to shoot down a plane. As a result, the plane was shot down. But from the war zone's reaction, it doesn't seem like a good thing. Huang Han and Zhang Mingrui still haven't shown themselves. They only sent these 2 soldiers to pass on a message, telling me to just stay home obediently. I was absent-mindedly walking in the door. 2 seconds later, I realized. I suddenly glared at the lock. Huh? Damn, why is my door open? I go on one business trip and my house gets robbed? But the next second, a middle-aged man walked out from the backyard. Who are you calling a thief? I took a closer look. It's my dad. Old man. Didn't you go to the city to look after my sister's kid? I couldn't reach you. I was so worried. Lu Jiangguo saw I was okay and breathed a sigh of relief. It turns out I've been out of touch for the past few days. He was so worried he almost went to find my second uncle, mobilizing all the relatives to look for me. My second uncle even went to report it to the police. I got a little impatient. I'm not an elementary school student. I won't get lost. Who knew my dad would get even angrier? Even an elementary school student wouldn't do this. Couldn't reach you for 3 days. I don't even know what brand of phone you have anymore. The moment I heard my dad's tone, I knew this was bad. I didn't dare talk back. After all, I've always been the most worrying child in the Liu family. This time, suddenly losing contact and causing a fuss to the point of a police report. This time, the elders have something to talk about again. Sure enough, before dinner, my second uncle's whole family came chattering back to the small courtyard. They grabbed me and gave me a torrent of lectures, and you can only helplessly nod in agreement. Taking advantage of the crowd, my father, Lu Jiangguo, once again used it as an excuse to talk. Look at which family's kid graduates from college and runs back to the countryside, I muttered under my breath. I went to a vocational college. It's the same. Everyone else goes to the city. But you hide out here and open a repair shop. All that schooling was for nothing. I honestly shook my head. I think fixing things is pretty good. Nonsense. I've been fixing things my whole life. Don't I know if it's good or not? As he spoke, Lu Jiangguo's blood pressure soared. So he turned to my second uncle. Second uncle, find Lu Chen a proper job. My dad had mentioned this more than once. Every time my second uncle would make excuses, but today he couldn't avoid it anymore. I'm just a small section chief. How can I just arrange a position for someone? Lu Jiangguo glared. Didn't you arrange for Xiao Jun to get in? That's different. Xiao Jun has a bachelor's degree after all. That's why he could become a teacher. Just then, my cousin Lu Xianjun stood up. How about Lu Chen takes an exam to get a certificate? Our school's logistics department is still short-staffed, although it's a contract position. But it's almost a stable job now. My dad's eyebrows finally relaxed a little. Working as an electrician at a university, it sounds respectable when you tell people. It's better than opening a repair shop in town. We still have to rely on Xiao Jun. You can't count on anyone else. Lu Jiangguo made the decision himself. Lu Chen, hurry up and go get your license. Let your cousin get you a job as an electrician. Your aunt chimed in too. The university is great. High salary, little work, easy life. Like your cousin, he makes over 100,000 a year. How much can you make repairing things? Lu Xianjun added. Once you're at the university, you can even take courses to get a degree. I can find a way to help you. Instantly, I was dumbfounded. They talked as if I was really about to go work as an electrician at the university. This whole family talks like a machine gun. They spoke so relentlessly, I couldn't even breathe. This time, I finally understood why I'd rather stay in town. To redirect the firepower. I changed the subject to my cousin, Lu Xianjun. Cousin, haven't you thought about studying for a PhD or something? I shouldn't have said anything. As soon as I said it, Lu Xianjun's face filled with smugness. My master's degree is already very good. Online, I am considered a genuine high-level talent. I played along absent-mindedly. My cousin studied aerodynamics, graduated from a prestigious university, all sorts of buffs. But in reality, the top graduates go to the Academy of Sciences. The second tier go to aerospace corporations. Third tier, like him, can only teach at a university. But in the eyes of the clueless elders, my cousin is the best in the world. My second aunt's face was full of pride. Your cousin just needs a wife now. Luckily, your aunt has already started arranging blind dates for him. As soon as I heard that, my gossip-loving soul ignited. Really? Any progress? Just then, my second uncle suddenly interjected. He met a girl a few days ago. It's just that her job is a bit tough. The moment I heard that, I knew. The elders were starting to find fault. What's wrong? Is it not good? Her family are construction contractors. Not very good. I slowly typed out a row of question marks. Being a contractor isn't good enough? Then what is? My God. Give me a wife whose family are construction contractors. I'd be ready to retire on the spot and shout that I don't want to work hard anymore. To prevent the flames of war from spreading to me, I suddenly stood up and took out 2 empty bowls. My dad, Lu Jiangguo, looked confused. What are you doing? 1 bowl isn't enough. I'm getting some rice for the soldiers outside. They've had a tough time. As soon as I finished speaking, the whole family looked at me as if I were an idiot. So the 2 soldiers outside are related to our family. If I hadn't said anything, everyone would have thought they were just passers-by. Why? I said casually. Didn't you go on a business trip to repair a vehicle? Before I could finish, my cousin Lu Xianjun interrupted. Damn! A military vehicle! Hey, they are. Before I could explain, my cousin interrupted again. Don't tell me you broke it. In an instant, the family lost their appetite for dinner. Repairing a military vehicle is one thing. The important part is that after I repaired it, 2 1.8-meter-tall buzz-cut guys are standing guard at the door. You could figure out with your toes that I've caused big trouble. My dad, Lu Jiangguo, just felt his scalp go numb. Did you break their vehicle? They're guarding the door, afraid you'll run away. I looked up and thought, that's a possibility. To be honest, I don't really understand it myself. The chief let me go home, but he sent 2 big guys to follow me. As for the vehicle, they didn't mention it at all. Who knows what they're thinking? But my dad didn't know.
He was furious. You don't make any money all day, just cause trouble. How much will we have to pay? After all, the old man has been fixing cars his whole life. Military vehicles may not look like much, but their price tags are terrifyingly expensive. Even a crappy truck costs $1 million. Most importantly, you cause trouble, and you have the nerve to leave them outside. Are you stupid? Hurry up and invite them in. Ask them how much we have to pay. I just sighed. I thought to myself that they wouldn't understand even if I told them. But the old man used his authority to pressure me. There was no other choice. The whole family could only respectfully carry 2 bowls of rice out the door. However, the moment they stepped outside, they found that the number of soldiers at the door had suddenly increased. In the distance, there was even a military green off-road vehicle. Oh my God, something big has happened. My cousin Lu Xianjun glanced at the leader's shoulder and his face immediately darkened. My second aunt still didn't understand what was going on. What's wrong? The chief is here. That gray-haired person. 2 stars. The rank of general. At this point, the hearts of the Lu family turned cold. A general. That's a real high-ranking officer. And now, a gray-haired old man was standing right at their doorstep. It's over. My dad, Lu Jiango, went weak at the knees. Just how much trouble has this brat Lu Chen caused? My cousin's voice was also trembling. It's hard to say. A general has already shown up. I guess $1 million won't solve it. My dad's heart clenched. He almost had a heart attack. Over $1 million. It would take generations to pay that off. At the same time, I walked towards the old man, a bit of doubt on my face. Before I could speak, a smile appeared on the old man's face. Saw you were eating, so I didn't come in to bother you. You must be young Mr. Lu, right? I carefully tried to remember. I was sure I didn't know this old man. Mr. Lu is my father. My name is Lu Chen. Ha ha ha. The old man laughed heartily with a powerful presence. Your matter? I've already heard about it from Huang Han. Update. Mechanical God Doctor continues from the last episode. I frowned. Huang Han is that fierce old man from the military region. You have to know, everyone in the military region addresses Huang Han by his title. No one has ever dared to call him by his full name. This shows that the old man in front of me has a higher status than Huang Han. Thinking of this, I pouted helplessly. If you already know everything, then just tell me straight how you're going to deal with me. How many years in prison? Unexpectedly, the old man burst out laughing after hearing this. You won't get a few years in prison here with us. Right after, he changed the subject. But you shot down an airplane. It's hard to explain things to the US military. If this kid falls into their hands, he could be locked up for life. My father's desperate scream reached my ears. Life imprisonment. My son got a life sentence, just for breaking a car. I hadn't even reacted yet. An old man had already put me into an off-road vehicle. But my dad thought I was being taken away to be executed, his face ashen, feeling like he had wasted the last 50 years of his life. Next, in the off-road vehicle, the kind old man introduced himself. My name is Lin Xiao. You can call me uncle. I frowned. I felt that this wasn't simple. I immediately waved my hand. It doesn't matter who's uncle, but your name sounds familiar, like I've heard it somewhere. Unexpectedly, Lin Xiao replied softly, That's normal. You probably heard it on the news. My mind went blank. The news, the military channel, that name with an extremely high rank. I guessed his status was high, but I didn't expect it to be sky-high like this. This time, I had completely lost all confidence. A big shot from the top of the pyramid came to see me personally. Is this a blessing or a curse? I couldn't help but speak up. How exactly do you plan to deal with me? In response, Lin Xiao looked out the window and said nonchalantly, My idea is to have you go to Hacheng. Hacheng. My heart suddenly turned cold. Isn't this like being exiled to Ningguda Pagoda? Didn't I just make a small mistake? Is it so bad that I have to be exiled to the northeast to serve my sentence? Unexpectedly, after hearing my thoughts, Lin Xiao let out a laugh. This kid is truly a character. His gaze immediately sharpened. We have carefully considered your abilities. The improved Hongqi 9 for our country has strategic significance for our air defense. A talent like you, we must focus on cultivating. The electronic engineering major at Harbin Institute of Technology is top tier in the country. I want to recommend you to go there. What? Not to serve a sentence? But to go to a top university in the country for advanced studies. This reversal caught me completely off guard. Lin Xiao looked at me, his eyes full of admiration as if looking at a national treasure. He asked solemnly, How about it? Harbin Institute of Technology. Do you want to go? But I slowly shook my head. Not really. As soon as I finished speaking, the smile on Lin Xiao's face immediately froze. I refused decisively. The eyes of the driver and the secretary in the front seat almost popped out. That's Harbin Institute of Technology, the best university in the country. The chief personally arranged it, and I didn't want it. Lin Xiao found me more and more interesting. He asked directly, Why? I answered frankly. It's too far from home. Besides, I'm past the age for schooling. My learning efficiency won't keep up. This was, of course, an excuse. In my heart, I was thinking about the 1 million follower mission. As long as I complete the mission, the contribution from the reward I'd get would certainly be no less than going to school. Who would have thought? After hearing my refusal, Lin Xiao burst out laughing. Huang Han didn't lie to me. This kid is truly a strange one. I was full of question marks. Right after, Lin Xiao said something shocking. Who said you were going to Harbin Institute of Technology to study? This time I was even more stunned. Then what am I going there for? To be a gatekeeper? No. Lin Xiao's expression suddenly turned serious. I want you to go to Harbin Institute of Technology to be a teacher. What? Be a teacher? I suspected I had misheard. But Lin Xiao's next words made my heart stop. To be a visiting professor in the electronic engineering department, teaching about radar and anti-stealth, joining the Changjiang Scholars Program, receiving a high-level talent subsidy. I hope you can systematize the theory of quantum radar and train a new generation of professional talents for us. I absolutely did not expect this outcome. Becoming a professor at Harbin Institute of Technology. What kind of international joke is this? I immediately refused. I can teach the theory, but as for lecturing, forget it. I can't teach. My attitude was very firm, stating that I know my own capabilities well, but Lin Xiao didn't force me. He just said casually, all right, we'll still keep the visiting professor title for you. The benefits, too. I heard that getting paid for nothing wasn't very good. As a result, Lin Xiao directly stated the number, over 50,000 a month in total for miscellaneous things. Thank you, Chief. My expression changed instantly. I agreed faster than anyone, mainly because the generous offer was hard to refuse. Update. Mechanical God Doctor continues from the last episode. Lin Xiao was amused by me. It's not for nothing. We'll need you in the future. You have to help. I pounded my chest. Absolutely. Unexpectedly, Lin Xiao nodded immediately. All right then, I have a small matter right now that needs your help. I was directly stunned, so it wasn't just a polite remark. There's a real task. This old fox schemes are one after another. It's impossible to guard against. Just then, the car passed through 3 security checkpoints and stopped next to a huge warehouse. In front of the hangar, a crowd of people stood. Wearing military coats, everyone had a serious expression. Huang Han and Zhang Mingrui were also among them. But after Lin Xiao got out of the car, he directly ignored everyone who greeted him and pulled me by the hand straight to the warehouse. I heard them say, "You're very good at fixing things, right?" My heart skipped a beat. I became extremely cautious. Lin Xiao smiled again. "Don't be nervous. It's just a small toy." With that said, he waved for an officer to open the warehouse door. The next second, a blast of cold air hit my face. A smell of metal and electromechanics rushed into my nose. In the center of the warehouse, under a huge military camouflage tarp, seemed to be a small hill covered. Lin Xiao strode forward, picked up a piece of metal from a table and handed it to me. "It's this little thing." I took the piece of metal and examined it carefully. This thing had an extremely light texture, but its hardness was very high. The surface had a special coating, which seemed to have been damaged after strong friction. Immediately after, lines of text suddenly appeared in my mind. Ti6L4V alloy, mainly used for the fuselage of fighter jets. The surface is coated with ferric oxide, damage level 99%. This material is mainly used for the F-35 Lightning fighter jet. F-35. I almost rolled my eyes to the heavens. This damn old man is so sly. He opens his mouth and says a small matter. He opens his mouth and says a small toy. You call an F-35 a small toy? My temper immediately flared. You guys are going too far. Handing me a piece of iron, you want me to give you back an F-35? Unexpectedly, Lin Xiao looked stunned after hearing this, but then secretly gave me a thumbs up. Now he understood what miraculous meant. Just from a single fragment, I was able to identify it as F-35 material. He directly admitted, "This kid is truly a genius. This is indeed the wreckage of an F-35. But I shook my head like a rattle drum. Can't be fixed at all. Are you kidding me? Using a fragment to fix an F-35? Then next time, will you give me a screw and ask me to fix an aircraft carrier? Besides, the unit price of an F-35 is over 100 million. It has long surpassed my repair limit." Lin Xiao asked curiously. "Aren't you able to fix anything and everything?" I was immediately a little helpless. "My dear chief, I'm a businessman. A little false advertising, that's perfectly reasonable." Lin Xiao laughed out loud. "This kid is quite humorous. All right, I won't tease you anymore. I'm not asking you to fix the F-35. It turns out that what was hidden under the camouflage tarp was the entire wreck of the F-35. It was shot in half by the Hongqi 9 and exploded mid-air. It was completely destroyed. Let alone you, even the original factory couldn't save it." Immediately after, Lin Xiao finally revealed his true purpose. Not even a god could save it. "I just want you to participate in the reverse engineering task force for this fighter jet." I was stunned. This wrecked thing still needs to be reverse engineered? Don't we already have a 5th-generation aircraft? We're not as poor as we used to be. The difficulty of reverse engineering this thing is simpler than building a new aircraft from scratch. But Lin Xiao nodded in satisfaction. What he needed was exactly this professionalism of mine. That's right, but there are some technologies we must analyze. For example, the fragment in your hand. It involves many fields like materials science, optics, and electromagnetics. If we can thoroughly analyze it, it will be a huge upgrade to our combat capabilities. This damaged F-35 is the only one in recent years of the enemy's main equipment that we've managed to acquire. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Lin Xiao's gaze became incredibly sharp. Xiao Lu, you understand radar, and you understand stealth even better. Therefore, I want you to join the stealth section of the Reverse Engineering Task Force. Along with other experts, analyze the stealth performance of this aircraft as soon as possible and produce a report. We need to rely on your report to make targeted improvements to the weaknesses in our air defense. Hearing these words, I finally breathed a sigh of relief. You should have said so earlier. As long as I can restore the formula for the stealth coding of this fragment, that contribution would already be huge. So their purpose is to create a perfect hypothetical enemy, using my technology to create training targets for the Air Force. That way, if we encounter invading enemy aircraft in the future, we can fight a prepared battle against an exhausted enemy. Update. Mechanical God Doctor continues from the last episode. I immediately understood Lin Xiao's thinking, but I didn't agree so easily, because I have a fatal weakness. I'm good at fixing things, but I really can't write reports. I could only refuse tactfully. Chief, have you seen my file? I'm allergic to writing. My academic performance is very poor. Even if you squeeze me dry, you won't get a single word out of me. But Lin Xiao smiled and waved towards the back. Immediately, a woman in a military uniform, an imposing Air Force uniform, ran up. Greetings, Chief. Qinshi, Section 1 Air Force Equipment Demonstration Bureau reporting. Lin Xiao waved his hand gently, directly introducing Qinshi to me. A graduate of the National University of Defense Technology, majoring in materials science, an expert in the field of electromagnetic stealth. She has even participated in the research and development of a sixth-generation aircraft. This time she will serve as the deputy team leader. You will be her colleague. I was instantly stunned. Her resume is impeccable. At such a young age, she's already developing fighter jets. Then I look at myself. At the same age, the biggest project I've participated in is Taobao's 1111 shopping festival. I blurted out, me, working with her. What do I count for? Unexpectedly, Lin Xiao replied without thinking, You're the big boss. I was completely stunned. No, that was a rhetorical question. The next second, Lin Xiao's words struck me like lightning. Xiao Chen, get acquainted. This is Professor Lu from Harbin Institute of Technology. He will serve as the team leader for the stealth module. You two must cooperate closely and produce the report as soon as possible. Professor Lu from Harbin Institute of Technology. Who's that? Stealth team leader. It can't be me. I was still frozen in place. Qinshi had already generously extended her hand. At the same time, my family was in an uproar. My cousin, Lu Xianjun, was shamelessly calling in favors. Hello, Lao Xia? My younger cousin was taken away by the military this afternoon. Can you help me ask around? That's right. We guess it might be because he was fixing a vehicle for the military and something big went wrong. The old classmate on the other end of the line was still speculating. Is just fixing a car? It probably isn't a big deal. The worst case scenario is damaging military property. Just pay compensation. Hearing this, the Lu family immediately breathed a sigh of relief. But the next second, their hearts jumped into their throats. About how much? A few 100,000 if it's cheap, 1 million if it's expensive. Thump. The Lu family's hearts sank completely. 1 million. Selling the entire family fortune wouldn't be enough. The old friend realized he must have guessed right. He quickly said, Don't panic. Which unit took your cousin away? Let me ask around for you. But my dad and Lu Xianjun couldn't answer at all. They were too scared at the time. Who would dare to ask for their unit? I only know they wore green uniforms. There was an old man. Just then, my eldest uncle suddenly interjected. I have a name. His name is Lin Xiao. Who? Lin Xiao. Lin, as in the character for forest. Xiao, as in heroic. As soon as he finished speaking, the other end of the line went silent. My dad hurriedly asked, Hello? Lao Xie, are you there? As a result, the old friend's voice was filled with panic. Jiangguo, I have something to do. Just pretend you never made this call. Hanging up now. The call was abruptly ended. Lu Jiangguo was completely stunned. What's going on? He just said he would help, but he hung up as soon as he heard the name. He suddenly looked towards my eldest uncle. Eldest uncle, how do you know his name? My eldest uncle pointed to the muted TV, the news. On the screen, a group of military officials were in a meeting, and the old man sitting in the center, they would recognize him even if he were turned to ash. It was Lin Xiao, the man who took me away. Boom. My dad was instantly struck by lightning. This is the national news. Someone who can sit in the center position can't possibly have a simple identity. No wonder his old friend was so scared he hung up immediately. Thinking of this, my dad's heart turned to ash. Brother, while your wife is still young, have another child. It's over. This account of mine is basically ruined. However, just as the whole family was despairing, with a clatter, the roller door was suddenly pulled up. I slipped in from outside. Closing up so early? Lu Chen is back in an instant. The whole family rushed over, hugging and putting arms around my shoulder. I was completely bewildered. Isn't it perfectly normal for me to come home? My cousin Lu Xianjun immediately questioned me. Why on earth did Lin Xiao take you away? I was even more curious. How do you all know his name? It was on the news. I had a sudden realization. I thought to myself that the old man was indeed no ordinary person. Unexpectedly, my cousin punched me in the chest. Speak properly. What did they want you to do? I could only say briefly. It's still about the car repair from last time. They gave me a new task. As soon as I said this, my cousin's brain short-circuited. A new task? Could it be that you owe too much money and they're making you work it off? But why would a figure from the national news arrange it directly? Just as the family was bewildered, a voice suddenly called from outside. Professor Lu, you've returned home safely. Well, take our leave. The two big soldiers bid me farewell. I waved. Thanks. Be careful on your way. Instantly, my dad was stunned. My second uncle was stunned. My cousin was also stunned. The three of them looked at each other, their faces full of question marks. Besides me, there's no one else in this house. Who were they calling Professor Lu? Update. Mechanical Huatuo continues from the last episode. My cousin Lu Xianjun's CPU was about to fry. He looked at me with disbelief. The professor they mentioned couldn't be you, right? I just replied casually. They were just being polite, but Lu Xianjun didn't believe it at all. If they were being polite, they'd call you brother. Why would they call you professor? So I had to explain it briefly. They saw that I'm good at fixing things, so they found me a job at a university. As a result, this sentence directly caused everyone in the Lu family to freeze. What's going on? You not only have a job, but you're also a professor? Lu Xianjun trailed after me, questioning insistently. How can I possibly believe this? Which university? I could only give a vague answer. I forgot which one, but he didn't believe a single word. You even forgot the name? It's not some vocational college for auto repair, is it? Just then, I stopped walking. I casually uttered a few words. I think it was Harbin Institute of Technology. Harbin Institute of Technology. I nodded with utmost certainty. Yes. That's the school that asked me to go teach. In an instant, the atmosphere in the room seemed to freeze. My cousin Lu Xianjun, a talent from the Forestry University, was completely dumbfounded. The pearl of national defense, the sword forge of the Republic. Back then, he couldn't even pass the political review for his postgraduate exam. On what grounds? Can someone like me, who couldn't even pass the exam for a bridging degree? After the shock wore off, endless emptiness and jealousy flooded Lu Xianjun's mind. What was my decade of hard study for? Seeing the shit-eating expression on my cousin's face, I couldn't help but pout. I didn't want to pour this cold water on you. It's you who insisted on asking, so I added another blow. Although they asked me to go, I said it was too far and refused. It'll probably just be a visiting professor in the future. After saying that, I turned around directly. Dad, second uncle, I'm going to bed first. I am tired. Watching my retreating back, Lu Xianjun was left with endless silence. Second uncle and dad still didn't understand. They hurriedly asked Xianjun, the professor he mentioned, is it the kind you're thinking of? Lu Xianjun didn't want to admit it, but could only nod. Lu Jiangguo was immediately thrilled. So that Har-something University and the Forestry University, which one is better? Hearing this, second uncle was unhappy. After all, his son teaches at the Forestry University. Brother, what are you thinking? The Forestry University is a proper second-tier university. This Harbin Tech University sounds dodgy just from the name. Unexpectedly, Lu Xianjun pulled his father's hand. Dad, you don't understand anything. You just know how to shout. Lu Jiangguo was bewildered. So which school is better in the end? Lu Xianjun held back for a long time, then uttered a few words. Let's say it's a 30-70 split. Forestry University is 70. That's good too. No. Harbin Tech would give 3 punches and Forestry University would be holding its 49th day funeral. As soon as he finished speaking, Lu Xianjun couldn't stay any longer. He turned and walked out. Where are you going? I'm going to check our ancestral grave. Someone must have set the weeds on fire. At the same time, I'd returned to my bedroom and was sitting at my desk, holding that mysterious fragment in my left hand, looking thoughtful. I fixed quite a few things, but I've never fixed something so useless. To be blunt, it's just a piece of metal. Update. Mechanical Huatuo continues from the last episode. This fragment doesn't belong to mechanical engineering at all. It's all about materials science. I don't know anything about this stuff, so I casually tossed the fragment aside. Materials science, not even a dog would study that. I then closed my eyes and directly entered the system. A mission suddenly appeared before my eyes. Mission, gain 1 million fans. But looking at the remaining time, there were only 23 days left. Looking back, the number of fans was only 194,000. So I looked at the progress, not even 1/5 of the way there, and took a sharp breath. I was too busy helping the war zone and neglected my main task. Gaining 800,000 fans in 23 days, this is simply absurd. I knew very well that relying on the old way of fixing home appliances wouldn't work. To gain fans quickly, I had to expand my field. I had to use some unique tricks, so I decided to make car repair my main business. No sooner said than done. I entered the system store again.
To fix cars, you first need the right tools. I quickly found the blueprint packages. German cars, American cars, domestic cars. The package price is only $1,299. I bought it without hesitation. Then I moved to the equipment section. Just as I was looking, a device priced at $899 suddenly caught my eye. An analyzer. I froze on the spot. What the hell is this thing that costs $800,000? Is it made of gold? You have to know, these are repair points. 800,000 repair points is enough to buy a missile. With the mindset of just looking and not buying, I clicked on the product details page. This is an essential analysis device for every household. It can reverse analyze the properties of items without limitation. It is widely used in many fields such as mechanical engineering, material science, electronic engineering, etc. The further I scrolled down, the more captivated I became. This description is truly too tempting. It's practically the yin-yang eyes for technicians. With just one look, you can see through an object's past and present. After an internal struggle for a full minute, I gritted my teeth and spent a huge sum to buy it. After buying it, I opened my eyes again. The next second, I suddenly looked at the metal fragment on the table. Instantly, a stream of data flooded my mind. This alloy fragment is composed of an alloy, metal, and a surface coating. Analysis can yield the manufacturing method for grade 164 titanium alloy and the manufacturing method for grade 1 nanowave absorbing coating. My jaw dropped. I almost couldn't stop myself from shouting. With just a single glance, I had actually completely mastered the manufacturing process of this piece of metal. The notification sound in my head rang out right after. The host can enter the crafting section and craft it themselves. I was immediately overjoyed. This means that I have now mastered the complete manufacturing process of 64 titanium, an aerospace-grade metal that can only be used in the aerospace field. With this heaven-defying process, the price can be completely lowered. In the future, if a customer's repair is missing materials, he'll just use 64 titanium. This is so freaking awesome. Updated, mechanical huatuo continued from the previous episode. As for the remaining nanowave absorbing material, although it's not as useful as 64 titanium, it's better than nothing. I decided to make 1 or 2 batches first. What's even better is that the manufacturing process can also be used to write a thesis on the side, which happens to solve the task from my superiors. Thinking of this, I got to work immediately. For the next 3 days, aside from eating and sleeping, I was immersed in the mental space. I smelted 3 batches of 64 titanium in total. Each time was more successful than the last. Every batch met aerospace-grade standards. Even the more difficult nanowave-absorbing material, I managed to refine 5 square meters of it. At the same time, for the past few days, Kinshi had been constantly messaging me, urging me, asking when the reverse engineering work would begin. I used to make excuses before, but now there's no need, because I already know how to do it. I picked up my phone and sent a message. Deputy Chin, the day after tomorrow is an auspicious day. We can start then. 2 p.m. I went live right on time. When the live stream notification popped up on the fans' phones, the old fans were caught off guard. The chat immediately exploded. Holy crap! The missing person has returned. The streamer is out of jail. Looking at these fragrant comments, I smiled knowingly. This is the right vibe. But today, I had prepared new live stream content. I cleared my throat, my tone heavy. Brothers, I regret to inform you all that due to my personal reasons, the opportunity to repair home appliances may become less frequent in the future. As soon as these words were out, the fans were stunned. Quitting streaming? No, my source of joy is gone. Gifts in the live stream room instantly flooded the screen. I waved my hand again. Brothers, stop gifting. Spend your money wisely. Even more gifts won't change my resolve. I took a deep breath and solemnly announced, starting from today, I declare that the Shengli Home Appliance Repair Shop is officially upgrading to the Shengli Repair Workshop. The chat immediately spammed question marks like crazy. My face was full of confidence as I announced grandly, starting today, I won't just be repairing home appliances, but also accepting car repairs and other mechanical services. Specializing in repairing tanks, nuclear submarines, refurbishing and polishing reactors, and nuclear warheads. Waxing and purchasing electric vehicles, tractors, and aircraft carriers at high prices. Discounts for large quantities. Please help spread the word. Holy crap. The fans screamed. They were tricked. The top donor is crying his eyes out in the bathroom, screaming to call the police. However, they also knew that jokes are jokes, teasing is teasing. With Brother Loose Skills, it's definitely the real deal. The fans didn't care that I was joking. On the contrary, they thought I should have done this long ago. The chat was immediately filled with support. In an instant, the brothers in the chat started giving suggestions together. How to find people, how to expand influence. They gave me clear instructions. They even thought about me ringing the bell for an IPO in 5 years. They even thought about me going public. However, I don't have such big ambitions. I just want to advertise so that people know I don't just repair home appliances. Because I was too famous before, many fans wanted to meet me in real life, but they suffered because they didn't have a worn-out electric kettle. They could only give up. Now the services are expanded. Cars, computers, phones. There's always something that suits the fans. Updated. Mechanical Huatuo continued from the previous episode. So I announced to the camera, brothers, if you have any car repair needs in the future, just come to me. As long as you have a badge in the live stream room, there will be no discounts for any of you. The fans were immediately speechless. So ruthless. Not even a single cent off, right? But everyone understood clearly. I was just joking around. After all, I am the one who single-handedly crashed the electric kettle market. My skills are top-notch, and I don't scam people. Then I offered another perk. Fans who have any mechanical problems can also consult with me online. As long as it's something I know, I will try my best to solve it. If you have a problem, just type it in the chat. As soon as I said this, the fans in the chat didn't hold back. A fan named Bayzi, sleeping at the pier, immediately asked a question. I want to buy a used car, budget is 20. I'd like some advice. As soon as I saw business coming in, I immediately sat up straight. 20 yuan or 200,000? Be specific. The fan immediately replied, 200,000, of course. I immediately felt a bit jealous. You have 200,000. Is that 200,000 of yours clean money? I told him to take it back. I have a friend who got hurt. Bayzi, sleeping at the pier, typed a series of question marks. Only then did I get back to the main topic. With a budget of 200,000, you can buy a new car. Who knew he would say there was no way? I can only find a used car from 96 now. I frowned. I felt that this wasn't simple. How many owners has it had? I heard him the fourth owner, but I suspect this car was used for ride-sharing before. I immediately suggested, I recommend you still take it for a test drive. But he said, forget a test drive. I'm not even allowed to touch the door handle. The fans got more confused as they listened. Is this car even legitimate? I understood immediately. Let me be blunt. This type has usually been refurbished. It looks very alluring, but in reality the engine and other parts are no good. It'll burn oil. The previous owner might even still have the spare key. Finally, I gave my advice. Listen to me. With a budget of 200,000, you can get a fine new model born in 2000. As soon as I said this, the brains of the audience in the live stream room were about to fry. Only then did they realize. What I was talking about wasn't fixing cars at all, but driving cars. The chat immediately spammed 666. Damn, my life coach, Brother Lou. You actually understood everything. So dirty. I glanced at the chat and just said casually, mind your own business, less. Amidst the cheerful laughter, a familiar rustic voice came from the door. Is little Lou there? An old man walked into my shop. I looked up. The person who came had tanned skin, a Sun Yat-sen suit that was washed until it faded. You could tell he was a neighbor from town, very simple and honest. I recognized this old man too. I immediately went to greet him. Uncle, what brings you here? Going to the market? I'm not buying chicken. The old man waved his hand, his reply off topic. I had to help him sit down on a chair. This Uncle Yang, though I call him a relative, is actually very distant. Calling him uncle is just out of respect. But he's old and a bit hard of hearing. Sometimes he hears, sometimes he doesn't. So when I communicate with him, it's always a bit difficult. Just when I didn't know what he was planning to do, Uncle Yang spoke up on his own. Little Lou, my Land Rover isn't running smoothly. Can you take a look at it for me? Updated, mechanical godly doctor, continued from the previous episode. As soon as the sentence was uttered, the live stream room immediately went dead silent. I thought it was a poor relative of mine who had come. I never expected the old man to drop such a bombshell the moment he opened his mouth. It was a direct slap to the faces of over 3,000 people in the live stream room. The comments exploded instantly. The old man drives a Land Rover too. I'm so jealous. Grandpa, I don't want to work hard anymore. I looked at the screaming comments, the viewers who were demanding to be adopted. I thought to myself that the morals of this world are really messed up. I told Uncle Yang to sit tight. Then I took the selfie stick and walked out of the shop. The so-called Land Rover was parked right in front of my door. The body was pure white, but its size was almost half that of a Range Rover. Seeing this, the viewers couldn't hold back their laughter anymore. Holy crap. A Lu Hu Xian Sheng. Why didn't you say so earlier? I wouldn't have been jealous then. Honestly, these old folks' cars are really well made nowadays. I already knew in my heart. You couldn't find a single real Range Rover in this whole town. But Xian Shengs were all over the place. Not only that, there were also Bentley Tian Luan, Bao Nan, Aston Ding Ding. As long as it was a luxury car on the market, you could definitely find a cheap replacement at the big market. There's no other reason. The elderly in the countryside need to get around, and they can't afford expensive cars. So the market for this kind of old man's fun car is huge. I just glanced at it, and the faults of this car appeared in my head. There were dozens of items in total. It wasn't surprising. For a few thousand yuan, you want a wheelbase of nearly 2 meters? Isn't that just cutting corners on materials? The battery is cut down, the chassis is cut down, the structural parts are cut down, the car produced is just a shell that can run. So I shook my head and went back into the shop. Uncle, the car has a lot of problems. It's not easy to fix. It needs at least a major overhaul. How much will it cost? Uncle Yang immediately looked a bit troubled. I patted his shoulder again. Let's not talk about money, Uncle. Just leave the car with me. Come get it in 3 days. Take the bus home today.
The old man didn't spend much money on this car. If I really fixed it, it would be more expensive than buying a new one. Besides, his family's situation isn't good. It wouldn't be reasonable for me to charge any amount of money. More importantly, I have another purpose for fixing this car. When it came in for repair, it was a Land Rover Range Rover. What car will it be after the repair? That's no longer up to it to decide. I'm counting on this car to create a huge wave of traffic for the live stream. Then thank you, little Lou. You are such a good person. Watching Uncle Yang leave, I turned my gaze back to that Land Rover Range Rover. I fell into deep thought, but the viewers in the live stream room were moved to tears, as expected of my favorite streamer. Such a good person. Even a shady merchant like me has to cry. From now on, he'll only sell expired lunchboxes to students. Streamer, can you post the link? I want to buy it. I have to say, the manufacturing technology for old men's cars is very advanced now. The internal configuration is even on par with cheap new energy vehicles. And most of my loyal fans are students. They were drooling when they saw this car. I can't afford a Xiaomi SU7, but I can't afford this Wu SU7 of yours? Looking at the calls to post the link in the live stream room, I immediately stopped them. Students, don't even think about it, I scoffed. Do you guys think the key point of an old man's fun car is the fun part? The key point is old man, I told them. If an old man drives it, the traffic police will turn a blind eye. They're afraid that if they stop them, they'll get scammed out of 8,000, but if a young person drives it, they won't have enough license points to deduct. Don't believe me? Seeing the comments that were still stubborn, I stopped talking nonsense. I turned around and got a wrench from the shop. I'm going to live stream disassembling the car on the spot. I'll let you guys see how ridiculous this thing is. Said and done. Joking aside, my hand speed was astonishingly fast, even faster than taking off a girl's clothes. Not long after, a complete car had turned into a pile of parts. I pointed to the pile of parts and started explaining, look, just this thing alone. It's called a four-wheeled vehicle, but it's actually two electric scooters connected in parallel. No air conditioning. In the winter, it relies entirely on a heater. There's even a chimney here. I even joked that you could roast sweet potatoes in the winter. The only safety measure on the car is the word safe travels stuck on the car door. The auto industry has evolved for 100 years, and it's all condensed in this 2.5-meter box. The comments immediately burst into crazy laughter. Safe travels my ass. Does the streamer want me to laugh to death? To inherit my debts? The old man asked you to fix the car, not dismantle it. But I pointed at that pile of parts with a serious expression. The old man's car is too damaged. It needs a major overhaul. I have to provide a repair guarantee at the trade-in level. The comments were immediately filled with question marks. Asking for a friend? What is a trade-in level repair guarantee? They didn't believe that the Lu Huxian Sheng, even if it were repaired into a flower, would still be an old man's car. But I already had a blueprint in my mind. I wasn't flustered at all. First, the old man often drives in the fields. The car's durability is the top priority. I directly stated the first plan. I plan to replace it with a sturdy set of chassis and bumpers that are highly impact resistant. The entire car will use a titanium alloy structure. I thought to myself, I just happened to have smelted a few batches of 64 titanium, a heaven-sent chassis material. It'll replace everything from the bumper to the chassis. From now on, he won't have to worry about encountering tractor-trailers in the village. As soon as I said this, the comments couldn't hold it in anymore. Does the streamer know how much titanium alloy costs? To replace the whole car? Even selling the streamer wouldn't be enough. That's aircraft material. If the streamer can make titanium alloy, he'll eat it on the spot. This is exactly the effect I wanted. I haven't seen the mukbang friend in a while. I'm writing down your ID. Next, I dropped the second bomb. The old man also has 2 granddaughters. He usually picks up the kids too, so driving comfort must be guaranteed. I cleared my throat. I plan to install 2 large, high-definition screens in the car, connect it to an intelligent voice system, and use laser radar for the entire vehicle. It will be standard equipped with a driver assistance system. The comments were 100% certain I was bluffing. They believed I could install 2 large, high-definition screens. After all, TVs aren't expensive now. But what the hell are an intelligent voice and laser radar? This broken car doesn't even have a radio, and you expect it to be intelligent? Mentally challenged is more like it. The comments were full of ridicule. Streamer, wake up. You can have anything in your dreams. Even if you can install it, does the old man know how to use it? But I didn't care at all. I directly presented the next highlight. Don't interrupt. I'm not done yet. The core of the auto industry is ultimately the engine. This car's top speed is 50 km/h. That's too slow. It takes half an hour from the old man's house to town. We have to speed it up. This time the comments didn't argue anymore. After all, the 2-wheeled electric vehicles on the road now are practically flying. The old man's 50 km/h car is indeed not worth looking at. That's right, the old man's car should have a top speed of 120. Just change the motor. Electric cars accelerate easily. The viewers slowly started offering suggestions, but I looked at these proposals and only had 2 words in my mind. Conservative. The old man has worked hard his whole life. Can't he enjoy it a little? 120 is the limit for an old man's car, not my limit.
So I directly announced the plan. Dual motor all-wheel drive, peak power 495 kWh, 673 horsepower, peak torque 871 Nm. 0 to 100 acceleration must be under 3 seconds. The top speed should be at least 300, right? The range has to be 1,000 km. Add 800V fast charging. Otherwise, it's easy to get range anxiety. Instantly, countless question marks flew across the live stream room. The viewers were all dumbfounded. Is the streamer speaking Chinese? I understand every word, but when put together, I don't understand anything. I'm comparing an old man's car to a supercar. How many drinks did you have to be this drunk? Some people even started betting. If you can do it, I'll do a handstand and eat shit, plus 186. I nodded sincerely. Then let's meet on the live stream in 3 days. Everyone, remember to prepare your own ingredients. When it comes to pleasing fans, I'm a professional. However, the comments also reminded me, modifying the engine like this, going on the road will be a big problem. I'm not worried about safety. After all, the words safe travels are on the door. The main problem is the law. Uncle Yang doesn't have a driver's license. Driving this modified supercar would land him in jail for several years. Besides, if this car can reach a speed of 300, the traffic police can't possibly ignore it. I quickly opened the town map. On the national highway alone, there are 77 speed cameras. If I want the old man to drive freely, I have to make these cameras unable to take pictures. Thinking of this, my gaze suddenly shifted to a corner. There lay the coating I had just test-produced. 5 square meters of wideband nano-wave-absorbing coating. The corner of my mouth curled up. Since things have come to this, I can only give the old man a stealth cloak. I clearly felt that fixing cars was a dog's job. Who knew I'd find joy in it now? Working with screws and engine oil every day, without having to expend any emotional value. This job is just too satisfying. However, while I was enjoying myself, a message shattered the tranquility. It was from the beautiful Professor Qin Shi. She asked right away, "Professor Liu, when are we starting work?" Before I could reply, she sent 2 more messages in a row. "If we don't start right away, I'm afraid it will be difficult for us to report back. If you find it troublesome, I'll start by myself first. When I get results, I'll put your name on it." This time I was a little unhappy. This girl looks beautiful, but why does she talk so harshly? I am a dignified man. How could I possibly freeload off her achievements? So I immediately replied to her. "My work is almost done. If it's convenient for you, come over to my place." Qin Shi on the other end replied immediately, "Okay, I'll come this afternoon." I didn't expect her to be so impatient. Today, I also had an appointment with Uncle Yang to pick up his car. The timing coincided perfectly. As a result, I waited all morning. No one came. Just then, my sister's Corolla parked in front of the house. "Mom, sis, why are you all here?" My mom carried a large bag of fruit and glanced at me. "Can I come visit my own family?" But things weren't that simple. After that, my second aunt and 2 aunts-in-law also flocked to the shop. As soon as I saw this scene, I felt a sense of unease. I quickly asked my sister, "What are you guys planning to do?" Who knew my sister would act like a mother hen? Aunt Liu said there's a suitable girl who just came back for summer vacation. You're lucky today. She's coming to our house for a blind date soon. A house call, no less. My face immediately darkened. What's more deadly is that they didn't just arrange a blind date. They also brought equipment for me. My sister directly threw out a shopping bag. "Go take a shower quickly. Change into this." I opened it to see. A black suit. It looked just like what a real estate agent would wear. I immediately refused. "I have my own clothes." My sister looked at me with disgust. "Your greasy pants? You have a hammer. That's what you have. This is from Heelan Home. A man's wardrobe. Stop talking so much. Go take a shower. Leave a good impression on her." I was too lazy to even move. What a joke. "Do I have to shower just to meet a blind date?" I said bluntly. "Sis, I have a lot to do today. I have to meet several groups of people." But my sister wouldn't listen at all. "Even if the sky falls today, you have to get in line." My mother's eyes lit up. "You have no idea how outstanding that girl is." But I didn't want to cooperate at all. As a result, my mother resorted to family discipline, a broom. She forced me to take a shower and change clothes. When I finished blow-drying my hair and stepped out, there were 2 more people in the shop. A middle-aged woman, who was the matchmaker. The other one was wearing a small floral dress, long black hair. She gave off a very marriageable vibe. This time, I understood. She was the model daughter-in-law my mother had always hoped for. The moment I appeared, the noisy room fell silent. The matchmaker was still the most perceptive. "What are you all doing? Let the 2 kids talk to each other. We're going out to sunbathe." Immediately after, a group of people rushed out. Only 2 people were left in the room. That woman slowly raised her head. The moment her eyes met mine, she immediately looked away. She clearly didn't expect that. I was much more handsome than in the photos. 1.8 meters tall, a strong build, well-proportioned features. My conditions in the blind date market were absolutely top tier. "Hello, my name is Shu Miao. Lu Chen." I was drying my hair, my mind completely elsewhere. Who knew she would directly start interrogation mode? "I am a teacher at Rongcheng No. 2 Middle School. I have a master's degree. And you?" I didn't even bother to look up. "Vocational college." As expected, Shu Miao's expression immediately darkened. She was probably thinking, handsome guys are indeed not well educated, but she hadn't given up yet. "What if my job was good?" "So what do you do for a living?" I pointed at the pile of parts filling the room.
Can't you tell? I'm a repairman. Shu Miao's brows furrowed even tighter. But I heard from the matchmaker that you seem to have a tenured position at a school. Oh, that. I was too lazy to explain. It's just an affiliation with a school in the Northeast. I thought to myself that this matchmaker was really well informed. She even knew about this. I was very clear. If I said now that I was a specially invited professor at Harbin Institute of Technology, she would definitely change her attitude immediately. But I didn't do that. I saw that her intentions were very clear. If I gave her a taste of sweetness, what kind of decency would be left? The truth was just as I thought. A vocational college degree. The repairman profession had already crossed Shu Miao's bottom line, but her bottom line was very flexible. She thought that although I was a repairman, I was also a self-employed business owner. My income must not be low. Thinking of this, Shu Miao began to state her conditions. I earn 7,000 a month now. I don't have a car or a house, but I have tenure. So what? She cleared her throat. To be honest, I hope my other half has a slightly higher income. A house and a car are a must. That way, it'll feel secure. After hearing this, I pouted. She doesn't look like much, but she sure thinks big. Just then, a cold voice came from the door, breaking the awkwardness. I turned my head to look. It was Qin Shi again. I looked at Qin Shi defending me in front of me. I couldn't help but thank her. Thanks for helping me show off. It turns out this intellectual girl's EQ is really high. Just now when she entered the door, she saw Shu Miao's ugly behavior when she was making a scene. She immediately went on a full-scale attack, directly throwing out a series of my professor titles. In an instant, she had slapped Shu Miao and that bunch of relatives' faces swollen. Qin Shi, however, was very serious. It's not showing off. I'm just stating the facts. I gave her a thumbs up. If you know how to talk, then talk some more. After that, Qin Shi began to observe my shop. So, this is where you work? I wiped the dust off a chair. I invited her to sit. It's a bit of a joke, a bit simple. Unexpectedly, Qin Shi's next sentence surprised me a little. I'm very curious. You've worked in an environment like this to become self-taught? I nodded. The conversation just ended. Qin Shi suddenly fell silent. I saw a flash of inferiority in her eyes. I didn't know she was having an internal struggle. Her academic qualifications were cultivated by the state with tens of millions in resources. As for me, a self-employed individual, I didn't cost the state a single cent, and I was even generating income for the country. In that moment, the bit of resentment in her eyes gradually dissipated. She finally understood. It wasn't that I wasn't serious. I just had my own life. Qin Shi's patience had clearly run out. So when will you have time? The matter of the microwave nano-coating can't be delayed any longer. I returned to my seat. My gaze immediately became profound. We can start now. Do you have any ideas? As soon as I finished speaking, Qin Shi immediately took out documents from her bag. It was the result of her work after many sleepless nights. I have, from a material science perspective, reverse analyzed the fragments. But right now, there are still a few difficult points I can't figure out.